Mr. Mangena, can you promote Memory Tongogara to be a panelist? Thank you. Mr. Mangena, you can also promote Colin Mackenzie and Max Magwaza. Afternoon once again. Jit, are we ready? Miss Machaya, talk to me. Sorry, Jit, I cannot hear you. Please unmute yourselves. You are muted. I can't hear you.
Yes, good afternoon. The people at headquarters, they have sent a message to ask if they can be heard. I don't know if they've been promoted to panelists yet.
Yeah, they've been promoted. Their microphones are mute. We can't hear them. I saw the text message.
Okay.
But their microphones are mute. Please, can you unmute yourself and then we can talk to each other?
I can't see them on the screen. Are you supposed to see them?
Sorry, which account is operating from the head office?
Colin Mackenzie.
Okay, if it's Colin Mackenzie, Mr. Mangena, can you promote JIT-HOD Colin Mackenzie to be a panelist? Thank you.
I think we're ready. Okay, now they can hear us. Okay, now we've got the right.
Cannot see you.
Good afternoon. Are you getting any pictures, sound, and visuals?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Picture?
Yeah, picture I have.
You have?
And I can only see one person.
Yep.
Okay. Just for voice checks, I request just a few words from each of the participants. Starting with you, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yes, I
Hello?
can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Good afternoon.
Okay, I can hear you. And the other presenters?
I will just Unati, call out your names.
Hi, my name is Unati Mbola.
Sorry, thanks. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Linda Ranisikita.
I cannot see the third person.
Linda Ranisikita.
Okay, can you frame properly? Oh, okay.
Linda Ranisikita.
Okay, I can hear you.
Good afternoon, Baz. My name is Adeline Hensel.
Okay, I can hear you. Loud and clear. So it's the four of you, right?
Yes, the four of us and the technical crew that are here to assist us this afternoon.
Okay, anyone else who's supposed to speak probably was not in that room, just to do some voice check.
Yeah, thank you. Please do join the voice check with Sarah Madzimba Muto and Memory Tongogara.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Memory Tongogara.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Baz. My name is Sarah Madzimba Mutomachaya.
Okay, I think we are ready. All of you can hear me loud and clear, right?
Loud and clear.
Okay, that's fine. So we can start. Chair, the applicant this afternoon is Jit-Tv, and they are ready to make their presentation and participate in this inquiry. So if we can start, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, JIT, and good afternoon, Zimbabwe, and a warm welcome to this public inquiry. The Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe is a statutory body established in terms of the Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 1206, and mandated to regulate the broadcasting industry, including licensing new broadcasting services and systems. The Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe's board has constituted itself as a Commission of Inquiry in terms of the Commission of Inquiry Act, Chapter 1007, as read together with the Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 1206. The Commission of Inquiry Act, Chapter 1007, provides for the holding of public inquiries into matters of public nature. The Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe received a total of 14 applications for free-to-air national commercial television service licenses. The Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 1206, provides in Section 10, subsection 6, that public inquiries shall be conducted for specified services, including for applications for national commercial television broadcasting service licenses, to determine the suitability of shortlisted applicants to be licensed. All persons who applied were shortlisted for the public inquiry process. The purpose of the inquiry is therefore to determine the suitability of shortlisted applicants to be licensed for the provision of free-to-air national commercial television broadcasting services. At this stage, I would like to introduce the commissioners. Starting with myself, I'm Charles Manzisibanda, the chairperson of the inquiry. Can I ask Commissioner Chota, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Chairperson. Good afternoon, Zimbabwe. Good afternoon, JIT, Just in Time TV. My name is Audrey Chiota, and I'm the Vice Chairperson of this commission.
Commissioner Chakanyuka.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tendai Chakanyuka, and I am a member of this commission. Thank you.
Commissioner Mamvura.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Victoria Spio Mamvura. I'm a commissioner.
Commissioner Mandipaka.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oliver Mandipaka, Commissioner.
Commissioner Mzeshi.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rodin Mzeche. I'm a commissioner with the Broadcasting Authority.
Commissioner Mapinda.
Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Mapinda. I'm a commissioner. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Chijausiku.
Good afternoon. I'm Ambassador Chijausiku. I'm a member of the commission.
Okay, if there's any commissioner who hasn't been introduced, you will introduce yourself before your first presentation. I would like at this stage to read the rules of the inquiry to the participants. Rules governing the conduct of the inquiry, administration of the oath. Applicants shall be sworn in by the chairperson of the commission or any other board member appointed for that purpose. Perjury. Any person who, after having been sworn in, gives false evidence before the commissioners concerning the subject matter of the inquiry, knowing such evidence to be false or not knowing or believing it to be true, shall be deemed guilty of perjury and may be punished accordingly. Contempt of commission. Any person who willfully insults any commissioner or willfully interrupts proceedings or otherwise willfully disturbs peace and order of the proceedings may be removed from the inquiry. The penalty for contempt and perjury. Any person who is found to be guilty of perjury and contempt of the commission shall be guilty of an offense and liable in addition to any other action taken by the commission to payment of a fine, imprisonment, or both such fine and imprisonment. Applicants failing to attend or refusing to be sworn in or to give evidence. If any person invited to attend the inquiry attends but leaves the inquiry without the permission of the commissioners or refuses to be sworn in, or having been sworn in, refuses without sufficient cause to answer or to answer fully and satisfactorily to the best of his knowledge and belief all questions put to him by or with the concurrence of the commissioners, or refuses or omits without sufficient cause to produce any documents in his possession or control required of him, shall be guilty of an offense and may be punished accordingly. At this stage, we would like to request the applicant as head of delegation to introduce the just-in-time delegation.
Good afternoon, Commissioner, Chair and Vice Chair and commissioners and members. Firstly, we'd like to say thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity that your team, yourself, and Zimbabwe at large, and the government of Zimbabwe have granted us this opportunity to present ourselves in terms of our capabilities and what we are able to do. Flanked with me in our other offices is Memory Tongogara, and then we've got Sarah Madzimba-Muto, and with me present in our head office, you've got Unati, our part of our legal advisor, Lindelani Skita, part of our regulatory and affairs, which will go through as we present and explain the portfolios in terms of all that is required. And then we've got Edlin Hensel, our marketing manager, who will actually be part of the presentations as well. We thank you.
Thank you, just in time. Council, can you administer the oath?
Thank you, Chair, and good afternoon to you all. Just in time, you'll be requested to take an oath before the commission. We requested that you have a Bible with you in our letter to you, so we request that you stand, and each one of the people that will be giving evidence before the commission, we have to take the oath. So I'll proceed to share the contents of the oath on the screen, and once it's reflecting, you can proceed.
Yes, it's reflecting.
Okay, you can proceed.
Thank you. I, Colin Peter Mackenzie, do solemnly swear that the information that I will give before this commission of inquiry shall be true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. So help me God.
I, Unati Mbola, do solemnly swear that the information that I will give before this commission of inquiry shall be true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. So help me God.
I, Lindelani Daniel Sikita, do solemnly swear that the information that I will give before this commission of inquiry shall be the true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. So help me God.
I, Edlin Hensel, do solemnly swear that the information that I will give before this commission of inquiry shall be true and correct to the best of my ability, knowledge, information, and belief. So help me God.
I, Memory Tongogara, do solemnly swear that the information that I will give before this commission of inquiry shall be true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. So help me God.
I, Sarah Daliso Madzimba-Muto, do solemnly swear that the information that I will give before this commission of inquiry shall be true and correct to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. So help me God.
Thank you very much to JIT. Chairperson, I think we're done, so it's over to you.
Okay, thank you. At this stage, I would like to advise the applicants and members of the public of the structure of the hearing, which shall be as follows. The applicant shall do a 30-minute presentation of their application. After that, the commission shall pose questions to the applicants on their application and some general areas. Then members of the public shall be given an opportunity to pose questions to the applicants. After that, the applicant can also pose a few questions, if they do have some, to the commission. And that will mark the end of the appearance of just in time before the commission. At this stage, I would like to call upon just in time to present their 30-minute presentation and be conscious of the time limits.
Thank you, Commissioner. Adeline Hensel, our marketing manager, will lead us through the first session of our presentation. Thank you. Over to you, Adeline.
Good afternoon, and thank you. We would like to begin this afternoon by thanking the Broadcasting Association of Zimbabwe Committee for inviting us and granting us JIT-TV this opportunity to present ourselves in our bid application for a TV commercial license. My name is Adeline Hensel, hailing from the City of Progress, hailing from the Midlands Province, from Gweru. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager for JIT-TV and the Media Box. Tinoti, Maskata Kanaka Kwamuri Mese, Muri Zimbabwe. Welcome to our presentation. From wherever in the world you are watching us from, we welcome you and thank you for making time to be part of this very important process. You are just in time to be part of history in the making, and we thank you for being part of this process. This afternoon, our presentation comes to you live from our website, www.jit-tv.tv. We are broadcasting to you live from our website right now. And as I take you through our presentation this afternoon, I'd like to just take a few seconds to invite a young gentleman, talent, part of our team who's designed this website just to take you through what it can do and how we are able to log in and bring this presentation live to you via our website. Everything, including our presentation, as per the screen shared to you this afternoon, is live on our website. Over to you, Neil. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Good afternoon, Zimbabwe. Bonjour, Zimbabwe. I'm Nile Toke, and I would like to take you through the presentation that we have today. Most of our presentation will come from our website, and I'd just like to share our screen here so that you can follow with us. Just, give me a moment. Okay. All right. Okay, that's great. Is everybody able to see the JIT website that we are currently on? Just confirmation. Okay. All right. I'll take everybody through it. So from our website, what you'll be able to find is who is who at JIT. The profile of all the team members will be on there. Just get that up. All right, there we go. So all the team members are on the website. You can find out the information about them, who they are. If you want more information about who all the team members are, you can just click on them and you'll be able to find information about them. You also have, the mouse, okay, fine. All right, I'm just gonna close that. All right, so we also have our experience, which is also just a gallery that you are able to see our experience and what we've also been involved in. You can also see our entertainment and news events and all of the videos that we have or content will also be put on our videos and events. And just to give you a look, I'm just gonna unmute and you can also follow along with some of the audio that we have. We have this and all the videos will be here. And I'm just gonna play this quick one for you, just for you to have an idea of the content that we may have on our website as well as on our channel.
Today's episode on happiness. My take on happiness. Happiness stems from self-awareness. When you have an understanding of self, you have an appreciation of self, which then gives you the ability to relax and live. I think that a lot of the times we get caught up in other people's opinions of what life is or what we ought to be, and we end up living other people's lives or other people's version of what our lives are supposed to resemble. But when you have an understanding of self, you understand what makes you happy. When you get to appreciate yourself, you do the things that you love as opposed to do the things that are actually imposed on you. And that's my take on happiness. So if you want to be happy, start to understand yourself. There are certain things you'll be good at, certain things you might not be so great at, and that's okay. Like, I know there's certain things I'm not good at, and that's okay with me, you know what I mean? But the point is this, though, when you have self-understanding, you have self-appreciation. That's ultimately it. So we'll catch you guys in the next episode of Inspiration Monday. Thank you very much for watching this episode. This is Anyani Mangwadi, signing out, baby.
All right. Okay, all right. All right, that was the news and events. More content will be on there. I would also now like to share our schedule with you. This schedule is updatable. It's not a static schedule, but one can update it all the time, anytime. And from here, you can go and search for any content that you're looking for. It's actually dynamic, that you can search for yourself and be able to find your content on there. And on top of that, we also have, if you need any information about us, you can read up about us. You can read up about our mission and vision as well on there, on our website. And you can also, if you need to contact us as well, you can find our information on contact us. All our information is there. Or you can email us with the web form, or you can also email us directly with the emails that we have. At this time, I also just like to share with you our promo video as well, which will also be coming from our website.
There is nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust the picture. We are controlling transmission. Sit quietly and we will control all that you see and hear. You are about to participate in a great adventure.
The revolution shall be televised. JIT-TV, just in time.
From the heart of Zimbabwe, it's JIT-TV, bringing you entertainment that is locally grounded but globally connected. An array of content colored with diversity and ethos that brings the world into your home. Through news that is accurate, the latest in fashion and sport, music, food and infotainment. A televised evolution. Nguva Yashika.
Meet Zimbabwe, one of the youngest in the family of entertainment. From the outside, Zimbabwe seems shy and timid, but in the inside, Zimbabwe is potential. That's why we have decided to name ourselves JIT-TV, Just in Time TV, a television channel for Zimbabweans by Zimbabweans. We are more than just TV. We are a channel of field entertainment and coming together of minds and proximal to build and share Zimbabwe's dream. This common dream we share is our business, one that stands on a strong pillar as a television network. We have done so to depict our tales, our own truths, and daily lives. It's a showcase of who we really are. Both our victories and tribulations, along with the richness of Africa's potential. Just-in-time television promises to provide access to infotainment, homegrown entertainment, and technology through our television channel. Just-in-Time Television promises to provide access to infotainment, homegrown entertainment, and technology through our television channel. Our digital pillar will connect the world to Africa's largest library of the first Afrocentric video on-demand platform. Just-in-Time TV is the entertainment solution to the 16 million Zimbabweans and over 1 billion Africans for entertainment and knowing we are JIT, Just-in-Time Television. JIT, Just-in-Time TV. JIT-TV.
All right, that was our promo video. I'll now just take you through at that moment. I'll just open up the presentation and Edlin Hensel will take us through further. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. I now hand you over to the founder and the CEO of Jit-TV, Mr. Colin Peter McKenzie. Thank you.
A very good afternoon to everybody. Chair, Commission, Vice, and your Commission panelists. I'd like to thank you first before we get into this presentation. This wonderful opportunity, and indeed the time has arrived. Go ahead, Rashida. We're here to give you a presentation that will be witty, entertaining, and a showcase to be remembered. In our content section that we're going to be discussing this afternoon is going to be the company background, television overview, marketing industry analysis, commercial strategy, and performance, projected performances as well.
Sorry, excuse me, just stop sharing the screen. We are seeing the website. We want to see the presentation. Okay, sorry, thanks.
Okay, so on the presentation, what you can get to see and what we're going to go through is the contents of the company background, television station overview, marketing industry analyst, our commercial strategy, and most importantly, our projected performances. So without further ado, so that we can get into the nitty-gritties of the whole thing, the introduction of television is a system for transmitting imaging and sound used to broadcast programs for entertainment, information, and education. The television set has become a common household time, interactive time, time to share views, time to share content, time to talk, or time to gather. Jeff Greenfield, the media observer, once stated that television cuts through geographic, ethics, class, cultural diversity. It is a single binding thread of any country which touches the young, old, rich, poor, and as well the learned or the illiterate. And that's the television for you. Who are we? Good question. JIT. We are a fresh urban crossover entertainment channel. A channel that's here to give entertainment, a channel that's there to bring joy. We are Jit-TV, just in time. Like Adeline mentioned earlier, hailing from the city of Gweru, the city of progress, that's where we come from, the rich date, but looking at Zimbabwe and beyond. We are a contemporary platform that is aimed at providing high quality programming that is entertaining, infotaining, educating, content that is pure entertainment news, sports, and soapies, dramas, and the list goes on. And most importantly, live events and virtual TV that you see that's coming through to you today. Our keynote station is, and target market when we look at it, is the LSM between 5 to 10, which will later demonstrate as to why. Within Zimbabwe, especially those as well, who have decided to subscribe to the likes of DSTV, Netflix and everything, because they are failing to get what Zimbabwe offers for them back home. And those who would like to subscribe to any other stations and still have not made a choice whether they need to go there, but are looking for interesting content, Our commercial strategy is focused on the following revenue streams: commercial advertising, sponsorship, partnership, content and sales, commercial slots, uplinking and downlinking, live events, co-productions. And in year one, we project an average audience of about 1 million, growing to about plus minus 3 million by year 5. We also looked at our revenue, and in terms of what are we capable or hoping to achieve out of this in the first year, 2 years going on. We did a bit of research and we looked at the projections in terms of revenue. We projected revenues of about $1 million in the first year, growing our revenue base to about 5 million per year up to year 5, obviously being conservative a bit as we'll be testing the waters, but we know we can do more. Capital requirements are all based on US exchange rates of the day, are all sufficiently generated of 50%, of which we believe makes JIT-TV an attractive proposition for advertisers and viewers as well at large. Our vision and mission is simple. It talks to the inner selves of ourselves. Our vision is to be the best in class digital content, providing a platform for upcoming Zimbabweans, content producers, upskilling and providing the best of the best in the broadcasting technology. And I think that you'll see coming through. Our mission, our primary mission in the contents of JIT-TV as a television channel is to extend our content offering by showcasing the best of Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe hasn't been shown, we are going to show. Why now? It's not the first time, it's not the last time, but we've continued to dwell and put our minds together so that we can come up with this concrete plan. JIT-TV has been a 5-year plan in the making. And if anyone is thinking of investing or finding an opportunity, that opportunity in any country on the African continent, it should start with Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a market with huge potential. The economic activities will also strengthen JIT. Our communities will identify with us as JIT-TV, will be an inspirational channel for all Zimbabweans, not the same old players all the time. We will bring something new. From there, we went forward and we took it a notch further. Okay. Can you click? Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. Our company background. Go. Yeah, the company background. Our company background is inspired by the need for a fresh, innovative approach towards an integrated media communications business function, a contemporary look and feel aimed at providing high quality programming in the entertainment, infotainment, and educative field. The name JIT, very interesting. JIT comes and is derived from an old music dance genre in Zimbabwe, backdated to the 1950s, late 70s, called JIT. So JIT Jive was a music genre, which we could see it being coming through the Oliver Tugudzi's kind of genre, JIT Jive. So hence Just in Time for Just in Time TV. This is the time. Focusing on offering artistic, Afrocentric entertainment television. This platform, by commissioning, most importantly, and developing content production houses, broadcasting facilities, program skills, FCC facilities, using modern day technology with a 4IR production, state-of-the-art broadcasting facilities, a 4th industrial revolution facility. JIT-TV's representatives are in the form of Memory Tongogara, 40%, Derek McKenzie, 30%, and Simba Rashe Tongogara with 30%, who have an extreme passion for telling the Zimbabwean story. And over and above, the JIT-TV management has worked within SADC Africa at large, promoting business-to-business opportunities, government-to-government opportunities, and are also involved in film publications with an added technical partnership of BUA, which is a top-kept secret, a manufacturer that sets up, makes and set-up boxes. The management background, I, as a CEO and founder, I've worked for the SABC as an account executive, moved into, responsible for the digital migration, responsible for content syndication, setting up digital channels. I was also responsible for offering a World Cup event. I was the project manager for the 2010 World Cup. And in the same year, I was a judge from South Africa and other opportunities. And I looked over SABC business development for 22 years. Memory is a talented teacher, 20 years of experience, diploma education, Bachelor of Arts degree in French and Portuguese master's education. This language background that Memory carries has a great offering in terms of our Francophone content, is there to assist us as we go into branching into Africa, and then we'll go through into the other continents, starting with SADC and the regions. Our operating model, as I mentioned earlier, fresh, innovative television channels showing the best of Zimbabwe, intriguing content that has a good vibe about social, economic, positive business functions that Zimbabwe has to offer. The name JIT, as mentioned, comes from the old genre. So we identify ourselves with that, and that's where our roots are grounded in that. Our operation manager model is to be able to deliver quality, interactive, informative, real content, critical, that capitalizes on local content events, live events, and ours is also to become a leading contributor in terms of the financial GDP growth of the country. Okay, our channel structures, as you can see, we've got the station, the HOD, head of channel, station manager, finance, and everything, which are all in place at the moment currently. As we cruise through, this is the team. The team, as you've seen earlier, you've got Adeline Hensel, sales and marketing, Felton McKenzie, local production, a socialite, Innocent Madam Mombe, illustrations and animation manager, as you can see that's coming through. Unati, who looks after the scheduling and program manager. Then you've got Derek Abofan in Fundi and an IT specialist. Then you've got Sarah Mazimbamuto, a specialist in her own right in terms of the HR, human resources capital, and an expert in legal and regulatory affairs within the SADC region. We've got Lindelani Sikita. So the team will be led by myself as Colin McKenzie and Memory Tongogara in terms of the segregation of duties and what is there to offer. We looked at the geographic footprint of Zimbabwe with a population of 16.6 million people, main language, English, Shona, Ndebele, and other languages used in broadcasting at Tongo, Chichewa, Venda, Changani, Kalanga, Nyanja, Manika, and Ndau. We also took a detailed look in terms of the competition comparisons. We looked at OTT, the cycle of revenue, the DCC, and the costs for doing an OTT over the top and broadcasting costs for the kind of conventional things. We've taken all those costs and analyzed into coming with these opportunities that we're about to present you. The resource plan, our resource plan is to embrace the greater socio-economic climate as a whole. This approval comes from endorsements from the film industry within the SADC region, some individuals we've spoken, independent content producers, and with our HR plan that will lead the skills and management structure in there. The legal and compliance, our legal team is a fair of the policies, but we as JIT, who have applied for this particular license, we say we will abide by the rules the commission has offered in terms of the licensing and to uphold the license, and will endeavor to comply with the BAR's terms legal compliance considerations. The broadcasting outlook, we've looked at the Zimbabwean broadcasting scape, as you can see. Jit-TV intends to become a leading creator and distributor of content through the development of an incomparable broadcasting system, a broadcasting unit that is next to none. The key differentiators in terms of what we did, we went back again and looked at it in terms of the OTT, video on demand, concepts, technical, satellite, in terms of what the cost expectations are. As you can see, we've got our model from this ingestment to the play out to the satellite uplink and downlink and broadcasting and OB and outdoor broadcasting events, which we are very keen on. Station overview. The station content, Jit-TV. Jit-TV is an independent station that will broadcast on the DTT and satellite platforms of our choice. The station content mix will be local programming from different regions, Africa and the world at large. A 24-hour schedule that will include 2 minutes entertainment news bites on the hour, every hour. As I mentioned earlier, sports, documentaries, reality, music, and all those kind of things, and kids programming for local and international. Marketing. I'll hand over marketing quickly to Adeline. She'll just speak about it, and then we'll go through the last bit of our presentation. Thank you.
On the marketing side, we started by doing an analysis of the state of the industry currently. Currently, the one thing we know and we're aware of is Zimbabweans are starved for variety. Us as Jit-TV, we are real entertainment. We are not about the news and the political side of the things. We are entertainment. We are there to educate in an entertaining manner for all age groups. Sorry. Okay, no, you can go.
I can go.
The market potential. The market potential, we've looked at the location, the income, the age, and occupation are just a few of the demographics which will make up Jit-TV content mix. Our target audience through the DTT network categories will include households with DSTV and online subscriptions, and that is mostly our target market, for we bringing now our own set-top boxes to Zimbabwe. People across different income brackets with different packages that we will offer according to their income structure. So we'll have a basket of options in terms of subscription. Our target audience, Jit-TV, as Colin outlined, we're targeting the LSM 5 to 10 urban market within Zimbabwe. We already have DSTV subscriptions. Our commercial strategy is focused on the following revenue streams. I think Colin has already been through this slide. The demographics, we're looking and we're targeting the age groups of 25 to 49 years old to be the epicenter of JIT, with 30 years and older family viewing. The reason for that is that from mid to upper LSMs, largely urban, highly motivated, forward-thinking, liberal, creative, opinionated, with strong entertainment vibes, well-traveled and well-exposed. Our marketing strategy is simple. We will begin by brand activation, by doing a road show nationally to every corner of Zimbabwe, right onto the rural area. Everybody deserves to have this opportunity and be aware of the fantastic work that BAS has opened out. We will go through print and media, print media activation period with billboards and print media with the local newspapers. We will run awareness drives on social media and campaigns. Through Kenzie Foundation, we will activate our social development program to give back to the communities and identify families in need throughout Zimbabwe, and also reach out to the development of the girl child, and also look at adopting a children's home, which will be affiliated with Jit-TV. Our implementing strategy, from phase 1, we're looking at infrastructure, research, consultation, resource planning, and logistics. Phase 2, technology training. Phase 3, marketing, auditions, and launch. Phase 3, we're looking at operations and retention. Our implementation rollout, on being awarded the TV license, together with BAS regulatory approvals, terms and conditions, Jit-TV, we will start to implement the plan with the first 3 months of phase 1 to phase 3, as per the implementation strategy. Our team of experts will work within the guided guidelines to the launching of this. The CSI, our CSI program is designed to work closely with our Kenzie Foundation, which will work closely with universities and technicons to introduce a graduate intern program designed to award top students a financial opportunity and an opportunity to obtain local and international experience in the broadcasting and media space.
Yes, just in time. You've got less than 3 minutes left.
Thank you. I'm going to hand over to Colin now as we just run through.
What we're going to do quickly, we will talk through the financials and going to first.
Oh, you have gone through that.
Yeah. Okay, what you see on this particular slide is all the equipment that's coming through that we will be actually putting into the facilities. We're actually looking at putting up a state-of-the-art broadcast center, which is going to be called the JIT-TV broadcast center. This center is going to be a center that will have all the facilities from creches to gyms, canteens, and most importantly, this center will be driven by green energy. This will be a first that we are actually going to do, and we're going to be doing it in the city of Gweru, the capital city of thing. Okay, the budget, which I know is very key, people want to find out if this is sustainable. The budget is actually based on a rand denomination, but actually based on the exchange rate of the day. It's taken in consideration infrastructure, studios, equipment, offices, legal fees, content acquisitions, and content commissioning, which we will be supporting the local industry as well in terms of the content. So that's what we're going to be looking at when we commission content. We'll not only be taking content, but we'll be commissioning it. Then we move on to, just to give you another brief overview, the look and feel of what JIT is. Sorry for the delay, but how about you can, thank you.
Just try and stay alive tonight. Let's keep trying. Let's stay alive. Let's keep trying. Let's stay alive. Let's keep trying. Just try and stay alive tonight. Let's keep trying. Let's stay alive. 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 Just try and stay alive tonight. Let's keep trying. Let's stay alive. Let's keep trying. Let's stay alive. Let's keep trying. Let's stay alive. Let's keep trying. Let's stay alive.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Vice Chair and Commissioners. For sure, JIT-TV is not just taking a chance, but we are taking the dance and would like you to support us and award us this license. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jit. At this stage, we'll just take 5-minute break, and can you then prepare yourselves to answer questions from the Commission? Just a 5-minute break.
Can somebody share the actual presentation?
I'll just move because the camera is the same.
Afternoon once again. Can we settle for the final session?
Thank you for welcoming us back.
So, Jit, are you ready for the final?
Yes, we're ready.
Okay. At this point in time, I'll ask the chairperson to lead us into the last session of our public inquiry. Chairperson, over to you.
Okay. Sorry for that. As I said, welcome back into the session. Can you just give us clarity on the choice of the name JIT and what really image you are intending to project in the broadcasting industry?
Thank you, Chair. What drove us to the name JIT is our passion and the love for Zimbabwe, first and foremost. Our moral conscience and our moral obligation of where we come from and where we belong. So we have to identify a sense of belonging that resonates with the young, old, fashionable, not so fashionable, illiterate, and illiterate. So JIT is a story that can be told through generations and through generations. Because there's been such a gap in terms of entertainment, we decided to bring it back on time. And when you look at the atmosphere, the social and economic situations in our country, they are changing. There's a great future ahead, and we can see it. And this is the perfect time for any individual in any sphere of the economic and social background to come into it. So it's just in time. And what we're trying to derive out of this particular channel, we're deriving and we're looking at a television channel that is strictly entertainment, a channel that brings joy, a channel that brings riveting, exciting content, a communicative platform that resonates with everybody and a few family viewing channel. But the most important and critical thing about Jit-Tv is the fact that we are an entertainment channel. We want to jive, we want to be happy. And that's what we need to do, to move away from the rhetoric of the negative stuff that is being said. We live in the diaspora. We've worked 28 years, we've done good in the diaspora countries. And this is the time that we are saying to ourselves, we want to go back home and invest. And this is an opportunity where the youth, the people where we come from, they know us very well, the streets in Zimbabwe, they know us. Today it's a buzz. We had lots of people when they come through here. So people will identify with us and say, it is true in the new dawn. It is possible in the new dawn. And we can do it. And it's just on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Mapinda.
All right, thank you, Chair. Broadcasting is an image. What image do you intend to protect in your programming?
Image is important. Image is important in broadcasting, correct. At Jit-TV, we want to protect the image of Zimbabwe. We want to tell our story. We want to tell the Zimbabwean story. Because Jit-TV is a channel by Zimbabweans, for Zimbabweans. We want to protect our country as Zimbabwe. We want to protect all the regulations, all the acts, all the policies, procedures as outlined by the Broadcasting Association of Zimbabwe. That is what we want to protect as JIT.
And
Okay.
just
Proceed
to add,
to the next question, Mr. Mapinda.
All right, thank you. Section 10 of the Constitution, under chapter on national objectives, places the responsibility on every entity to promote national unity, peace, and stability. A television station can ignite national instability whilst making money. What is your understanding of the role of the media, and how would you ensure that the TV station promotes peace and stability? And what measures would you put in place in defense of such?
thank you, Commissioner. That particular question is a question that resonates very well with me as an individual who's been in the broadcasting sphere for 25 years. The ethos and ethics of a broadcaster are key and paramount in terms of their honesty, their credentials, and in terms of their belonging. And we should, for us, yes, it's a business, it's a commercial channel we're looking at, but it's more of a passion and the hope to give hope to Zimbabweans. There are policies in Zimbabwe that guide and are directed to protect us as the broadcaster from not going astray. There's a lot of them that you mentioned. There's also policies in terms of broadcasting. There's also policies in terms of the journalistic approach in terms of everything. So we, within JIT, we also will have, or we have, a regulatory framework that is aligned and that binds to certain ethos and principles of integrity. So integrity is the utmost key. Hence, again, we are saying to ourselves, then this that we are offering as JIT, it is a platform that has never been seen. It is a story to be told. It is a good story about Zimbabwe that has to be told, that has never been told. We've had international media come in and make use of our opportunities while we are there as Zimbabweans in the background doing the broadcasting, and we have not said a word. So with the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe and the government of Zimbabwe opening the airwaves and giving us this opportunity, we're saying hallelujah. It's not end. The opportunity that we now can be able to tell our Zimbabwean stories with the figurehead of saying who we are, what we want to do, with the biggest ambition of growing our young talent. I'm 23 years, I'm 50, sorry, I'm 51 this year. The gentleman you've seen present, I'm 51 this year. I may not look in 1969, September. Yeah, but I look 23. The gentleman that just presented there is 21 years. He's not even half my age. But from what he is doing and what he has done, the chips, the security codes, the encoding, this is the stuff we want to take home. This is the stuff we want to build our generation. MSU. We can move to different provinces. We have to, I worked in the whole corner of Zimbabwe, from Chinoy to Karibe. I've been there and I lived there. So that's my home, and I want to come home and build a better broadcasting situation that gives us the opportunity to tell our stories by Zimbabweans for Zimbabweans. This is a passionate plea that we're asking to say. It's about time. Rise up, Zimbabwe. Let's rise. Let's give us the true African story, the true Zimbabwean story from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ambassador Jit-Tv. Unmute yourself, please.
JIT, in the event that you are given a license, how do you envisage yourself as a bridge between the old and the young? And how would you complement the two values of the old generation and the new generation?
Thank you very much. My grandmother was a pivotal role model in my life. She told us stories at night where the radios used to have a doily on top there and used to listen to the stories. We used to interpret those stories through our mind. So I became to understand that radio is the theater of mind. You can tell a story, but your mind has to create it in a certain way. Unlike television. Television is visual, and sound. And when it becomes sound, it combines the two. So it's a bridging gap between everything. We have chosen this particular position of being an entertainment channel because we want to bridge the gap between the public broadcaster and ourselves. The public or the state broadcaster cannot be everything and everything for somebody else. Us, by leveraging off, and the state broadcaster by leveraging off us as all partners in the broadcasting industry, we tend to go there. It clearly defines it in our content split in terms of that. And another thing that we actually so critical about it is that the storytelling stories will be told on television. Our goal, they are going to come and be telling stories on TV, the kids, so you'll have bedtime storytelling, which is going to be bridging that gap where we still want to bring in our moral and dynamic cultures into, because as the generation moves, our culture is being diluted. So we want to bring it home and educate and speak about our cultures. It's actually a beautiful culture. We've got a beautiful, beautiful story to be told. And that is what's going to be bridging the gap between the young and the old. You're going to be having music that transcends through both. Our programming is going to look at certain times and peaks and hours of broadcasting in terms of what time the kids are going to watch, youths and everything based on the time bands and everything. So all that stuff, and then it's good. What's most important, we are going to have content that is of family viewing, where families can sit and watch certain content. We're going to have dramas, documentary series, riveting, hot, off the hill soapies produced in Zimbabwe that can be watched by families. The religion aspect is going to come into play in terms of the percentage splits. The cultural dynamics will come into play as well. We'll speak about it. And then what we need to do is to keep telling the Zimbabwe story. And that's the only way we can bridge the gap. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Chakaya Nyuka.
Thank you, Chair. JIT, what would speak to the quality of journalism at JIT? And how would the Code of Ethics for Journalism influence the quality of your journalists?
The Code of Ethics in terms of our journalistic behavior, in terms of our policy and makeup of who we are. I've mentioned earlier that the integrity, the ethos, and the motive behind each and everybody. There has to be a screening process, so we have a policy that guides scrupulous journalists from parading and masquerading as journalists in the disguise of some other force. That is an issue which we need to come in as individuals, as sectors, and speak about it and say, are you truly a journalist? Because journalists are not supposed to influence an outcome of anything. If a journalist does not show impartiality, to be truthful told, I've worked with them, we fire them. That's what we will do. So we've got no room for journalists who bypass and discredit the policies or the human dignity and the sovereignty of the country at stake as well. In terms of greed, maliciousness, we've seen it, I've been through it, and we know them, and we will not hide them. So ours is to train a new model of journalism and rebuild the ethos within the generation to come. We need to start grooming a new crop of journalism, a new fiber that will strengthen our values and morals. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Mamvura.
Jit, you have answered part of the question, but you might want to add a bit more. Running a television is quite intensive. You have shown us your management staff and part of your manpower. What assurance would you give that the station would be run by skilled manpower?
The assurance we can give you is my word, my unrevocable word, Commissioner. Thank you for that and for bringing us back. Quality is key. Content is king. We are guaranteeing you a top-class platform, a platform that will transcend across bridges and barriers, a platform that is going to be a talk, a platform that will be entertaining, moving the mindset from the normal social media rhetoric, a platform that is focused, a platform that creates a lifestyle of entertainment, a platform that talks of joy, a platform of sharing good vibes, a platform of talking and communicating to people, but most importantly, a platform that brings joy. The particular skills that we are going to bring through our internship program with the Human Resources Department, I think they can actually speak about it. Sarah can speak about it. We have a plan to train students. We have a plan to set up satellite offices in different regions, in schools and in universities that will be producing content that will be feeding into this particular thing. And the training skills will begin from the day of being awarded the license. We've got a roadmap, we've got individuals and partners that will be training us, not only in Zimbabwe, there will be training facilities in there, there'll be competitions, the whole thing running from red carpet events. We are going to have interns coming on board.
Sorry, through you, Chair and Commissioner Mamvura, if I can just add on to the question that has been asked with regards to human resources. I think basically the most important thing of ensuring that you've got good quality staff comes with the recruitment and selection. So we will make sure that we'll go through the right processes of recruiting, which means we'll be taking in applications from the qualified individuals in the respective departments and sections that we have at Jit-TV. After we've received, obviously, the process of making sure we advertise the available positions at Jit-TV. After advertising, we do the proper recruitment and selections, go through the interviews, and from there, we'll make sure we shortlist the people with the right qualifications and assign them to the right positions to ensure that we get the utmost performance from whoever we do recruit. And on top of that, after that, we know that qualification is not the end and end all of performing properly, but we also, like Mr. Mackenzie has indicated, we do have training programs that will be in place, and our training programs will cover all departments. We'll have workshops, we'll have seminars. I think it's also part of the roadmap that we have in terms of our human resources, our personnel upskilling program. On top of that, we're not just talking about the people that will be working at Jit-TV. I'm sure we'll also have people that will be coming in as producers that we also consider as part of our human resources. We'll also have programs that will ensure that as they are providing the services to us, we've given them enough support, we've given them enough training, which will be part of the development program, not just of our staff, but of also those that will be service providers or producers that will be dealing with Jit-TV. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, I'm sure you answered. Commissioner Chakanyuka.
Thank you, Chair. Jits, how do you see your intended target markets attracting advertisers?
Our intended target market, as it's clearly defined as well, that it actually looks at the middle to upper income. We've said they're locally grounded, but globally connected, with an epicenter of the age plus, the spill over to the 50-55 plus. Hopefully by then I'll be still there in the next 5 years, coming down to the 20-60 less. So we're also targeting the parents of those particular kids that are the ones who can be influenced by kids in terms of what they might need to buy. So our target audience and the content that we have has already been done. We've done a dipstick in terms of the industry, and we've got a feel, and we've looked at the gaps within the content environment. We're looking at producing real strong content that is commissioned, program sponsored, co-sponsored. We're looking at a lot of things, and not only looking at the independent content producers, which I see is good and it's happening. We've got quite a lot already that have come on board with us, very good individuals. They will look for a platform as a vehicle. We will be commissioning our own programming to the production house outside. We'll be saying to the guys, this is the pot, we need maybe a drama series or we need a music show and stuff like that. So they put in a RFQ sheets via the recruitment drive and procurement policies, and the bidder will get opportunity to present, produce, and to do that on our behalf, and we pay them out.
Can I just add to what Mr. McKenzie has just said? Most importantly, we know that the youth influence retail. What they see on TV, what they see in advertisements is what they want, is what they have their parents to buy. So our target market being that age group, being that your young adults, you know, they influence the retail, they influence people buying patterns, fashion trends, etc., all by seeing it on TV. So I think that answers in addition to your question.
Okay, thank you. Audrey, Commissioner Shorter.
Thank you, Chairperson. JIT-TV, you have indicated in your presentation that you are keen to ensure that you contribute meaningfully to economic growth. Talk to us about your commitment to adhering to statutory requirements and contribution to the GDP in this context.
First and foremost, Commissioner, thank you so much. We've done things for our fellow Zimbabweans as individuals where we are. During the flood-stricken times in Mashonaland West, I've gotten food stuff over 6 magoneta right through to Agunje. I went into the thick of things, making sure that we do our Zimbabweans right, saving them out of there. And most importantly, we've done contributions as well. Our school programs, my former school, the swimming pool was dilapidated for over 30, 47 years, Chaplain Guerugu. I renovated it, we put it together under the Kenzie Foundation. We managed to do it and resuscitate the whole pool. It was quite a huge and significant amount of things. For the temporal processes, we're currently involved in quite a lot of things, that's on the other side. But when we come back to what you're actually talking about, the material cause and the core values of what we are, how do we give back? We're not only going to give back to GDP, but we're going to give back to individual growth, individual potential. What's key is to actually help train, teach, producers, content editors. 21-year-old is here. We want to get more 21-year-olds from Zimbabwe and Africa to come in and integrate and give and pass skills. That's one way. Content or this television channel, Commissioner. I'm so passionate about TV because I've been in it for too long. And I've seen what it can do and what it cannot do. But when it's done properly and not for chances, when it contributes to the GDP, we will be able to generate a lot of content and have our own Zim Hollywood. We'll be able to sell content beyond Zimbabwe. We'll be able to create a database, which we did not show you here, an Afrocentric database that people will be able to tap in and buy content via our database. We'll be able to have a storage facility that will be able to carry content for 20 years and beyond. So people will be able to be buying. And secondly, we are going to create an industry that is robust, an industry that is exciting, an industry that is booming. When once through communication, excitement, through media, it brings positivity, and positivity contributes to the GDP. So this process that is currently taking place here is a process that is one that is worth noticing, Commissioner. I don't know what kind of an impact you're getting there, but certainly from our side, the impact is huge. Yeah, so there's a lot. And secondly, on the GDP side, which is critical and key, Zimbabwe is moving from a place of decentralization, creating self-economic hubs. And this is when we thought about it and we said, we come from, nothing has really happened there. It's not viable, but what can we do to benefit Bandekweli? We want to add value to the people from the Midlands province, but outstretch it into the whole of Zimbabwe. Then we looked at it and we said, we're 2 hours from Harare, Bulawayo, basically central, the heartbeat of Zimbabwe. So that's where we decided we're going to locate our broadcasting center. It's going to call the JIT Broadcasting Center It's going to be the mark of the world. We've actually identified ground already in Gweru, on our main street. We're ready, the architects and civil engineers will go in and see what they can do for us to make sure that this thing happens. And we want the industry to boom. We want to create jobs. And secondly, we do not want to put the reliance totally and the dependence on government to create jobs. There's an industry that is sitting in Zimbabwe that can be self-funded on its own.
Thank you. I'm still interested in hearing your appreciation of the statutory requirements that you would also need to sort of relate to in terms of making that economic contribution, in addition, of course, to the selling of programs and all the wonderful things that you've shared.
Thank you, Chair. I'll contribute. The statutory, sorry, Chair. With local content, 35% will come from the broadcaster, and 75, and the rest of 40% will come from the independent producers. And this will make sure that we give back to the community. And with us making contributing 35%, we would like to even go further and increase the number. Thank you, Chair.
And also, maybe I can add on there, we will also be looking at the disability, the blind, the impaired, and all that kind of stuff, which our content will also...
Local content.
Sorry,
our content must be local content, which is 75%.
Yes, and what we'll do as well, Commissioner, we are going to use the statutory instruments, especially of Statutory Instrument 20 of 2020, which clearly states in terms of the broadcasting acts and stuff like that, what we need to do. We clearly know what we need to do there in terms of bringing it home, in terms of the contribution, aligning our policies to the statutory instruments. And to be honest, that the moment we are awarded this license, we are going to go in hand and sign a covenant with BAS, the Broadcasting Authority, to take us across every station or every process of the way as we build from the foundation. We'll have the tick-offs from BAS. Are we doing the right thing as we go? Because ours is to abide by every regulation that the Zimbabwean government and the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe has to lay with us in terms of the licensing conditions. We are ready for it, we're accepting it, and we're willing to abide. And we are going to do it unequivocally.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Over to you, Chair.
Okay. Did you want to add to that or we proceed?
Yes, I wanted to add that in our structure, we have seen it that it is very important that we comply with the laws. What we'll do under the Regulatory and Corporate Affairs Department, we will do the audit of all legislations and policies which we need to comply with as a broadcaster. And every time when they change, our department will be responsible for keeping a list of all legislations which we need to comply with.
Thank you. We want to move on to the content aspect of your application. We are trying to fill up gaps or to get clarity on issues that didn't come out clearly in your initial submission. Ambassador, Commissioner Chakanyuka.
Thank you, Chair. JIT, your application actually did not address quite a number of issues on the programming and content front. And so we're hoping that you can answer as briefly as possible, just to be able to shed more light on those areas that you did not include when you submitted your application. For example, the issue of national languages. As you know, that the Constitution of Zimbabwe and the Broadcasting Services Act provide for the use of national languages. So would you explain to us how your station will address the issue of national languages if you're licensed?
Yeah, we will address the national languages in terms of, let me first put it this way. The locally produced content, especially the 10% of our locally produced content is going to be produced in local vernacular. But it's going to have its subtitling so that anyone who is Changani, Go, Shona, Kalanga can be able to communicate or follow through as we've seen it happening with a lot of content coming in from South Africa that is finding resonance in Zimbabwe. So we're going to do the same, that most of the drama series or soapies or entertainment will have multilingual dialogue in it. So we will be able to address that by offering 10% of that content, of our scheduling content, to that kind of programming. Obviously with the content splits in terms of maybe 2% here, 3% there, with the main focus on local languages as well.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure Commissioner Mapinda, your next question has been answered on those with the hearing impairment. Do you want to follow it up?
No, you can pass on.
Okay, Commissioner Shorter.
Thank you, Chair. So the Broadcasting Services Act, or Chapter 1206, requires those to be licensed to provide airtime to the government of the day to express and explain its policies. In your scheduling, how have you planned to comply with that for those same purposes in line with the Act?
The social services awareness campaigns from government is a given and it's a non-negotiable. If we could do more, we'll do more. When the need is there, we'll do more. But an hour is dedicated daily, which is cumulative in terms of communicating the government words. For example, you had Corona, we rally behind the government messages in terms of educating, informing individuals, awareness campaigns. We will align some of our programming mostly with the Department of Arts and Culture and the Department of Tourism, where we would love to use Jit-TV as a window for marketing and an opportunity and a gateway as a conveyor of good stories to tell for Zimbabwe. So the key industries as well, in terms of the government messaging, is from the health sectors to all other sectors within Zimbabwe, that the government contents will be about an hour, will be an hour or more. And most importantly, if not used, it will be cumulatively allocated to the government as and when they need it. But our duty will be also to speak to the various departments in terms of what offerings we can do for them to ignite the message and translate it in an entertaining and exciting way.
Thank you. Are you okay, Commissioner Shorter?
Yes, we.
Okay, let us hear from Commissioner Mapinda.
Hello. Right. JIT, the Broadcasting Services Act places certain public service obligations on the licensee. How would your station fulfill this requirement?
Sorry, say that again. Commissioner, just can you repeat?
I said, hello?
Yes,
can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Mapinda, you are breaking. Can Commissioner Chiota take the question if your microphone is clear?
What do you think is...
Okay, it's Commissioner Mandipaka.
Okay.
Who should be asking at this point. Thank you, Chair.
Confirm that your question on Neighboring Rights Act has been answered. I think there's a connection problem there. Okay, Commissioner
Not as
Chakanyuka.
yet.
Yeah,
I
there's a
can hear you, Chair. Can you ask my question?
Okay, can you go ahead with your question?
Thank you, Chair. My question to JIT is, what do you think is the applicability of the Copyright and Neighboring Rights Act, Chapter 26.01, if issued with a license?
Yeah, there's if issued with a license, there are contractual obligations that as broadcasters we have to abide by. There's the music rights, there's the royalties that have to be paid to individuals. So basically within our system, we do have guides and policies. For example, on the royalties, the rights on the royalties, we'll have what we call the QC sheets, the quality control sheets, which are system-based, operated, system-generated. Any content and anything that goes out is scanned and flagged and accumulatively added up, and the royalties are paid to the different organizations or music entities. Because that's a very key thing. If we want to grow the industry, we've got to be able to take care of our mandate in terms of that particular section and that statutory instrument, because the musicians are the ones that make what we make. The royalty rights are key to their living and the sustenance and their self-sustainability. So we've got to also get in touch, and we'll also have Zamura on the side. We will be also, and other music rights entities and the royalty rights. Then we'll look at the broadcasting rights and content rights. That also depends on the content acquisition in terms of how we acquire our content. We look at the rights in terms of mobile app, satellite app, terrestrial rights. So we're depending on how we structure the content acquisitions, because that's another key, that those rights have to extend. As we all know that the royalty rights and content is now being consumed onto different multi-modes of platform. Back in the days, I had a problem before when we started up an entertainment channel, where the rights, we purchased the content, but we did not know that the content rights were not for Jit-TV. And we just thought that the rights were us and in terms of the broadcasting rights, until we had a big lawsuit on our case, where we had to go back and negotiate with the content providers, and they said, so now we're structuring all those other rights in terms of the platforms that have to go within the contract obligations. Thank you. I hope that helps.
Thank you. Commissioner Chakanyuka.
Chairperson, I'll take Commissioner Chakanyuka's question.
Go ahead. Yeah, we've lost both of you. Who is left there? I think there's a problem. Can Commissioner Mamvura take the question, please?
Yes, Chairperson.
Hello, Chair.
If issued with a license, you will employ journalists for news and current affairs programming. The Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 1206, require that once a person is licensed, they must comply with the relevant legislation with respect to the practice of journalists employed by the licensee. How is the station going to comply with the relevant legislation that govern the registration of journalists?
Thank you, Commissioner. As you know, and as we presented now this afternoon, is that our channel is an entertainment channel. Our news and current affairs are going to be very minimal, but yes, we'll have to employ and hire those particular individuals, the journalists, to do those particular shows or those news bits on the hour, every hour. However, there's a policy that is clearly guided, the one you've mentioned in Zimbabwe, that stipulates that as well that journalists need to be registered and they adhere to the certain laws of the country. And this is a given in any way all over the world. It's no exception to Zimbabwe that there are those rules and those regulations. And it's only common knowledge that it is only respectful that a journalist themselves would abide by that. But however, to cement that process, our processes will have firewalls to protect such things, where journalists will not have full control of our editorial policies that will influence the broadcasting platform. So they can have their stories, but the editor and the editor-in-chief will have the editorial content that goes in. The firewalls are there to put in place the rhetoric in terms of some individuals paid to put in news bits, paid to actually indirectly or secretly advertise a program or a product. So the firewalls will be in place to protect that based, and those firewalls are based within our policies and within the HR system. And I think Sarah can add on to that as well, which we've covered that. Ironically, we've been speaking about this whole thing in the past weeks, in the past months, with regards to the ethics and codes. So a policy document on journalism, ethics, and codes will be governed. And we will take it a step further, that all journalists actually employed or hired by us will have to fill a strict registration form.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mackenzie. Through you, Chair, and in response to the question, just to add to what Mr. Mackenzie is saying, generally the journalists will be registered according to the relevant licensing authorities. They should obviously be a vetting process that they have to go through to ensure whether they're qualified to be registered, whether they're eligible to be registered. If there's need to go through background checks to check on eligibility, that's the process that will take. But basically the key is we'll register all journalists through the relevant authorities in Zimbabwe that require the registration of journalists. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if Commissioner Mapinda, you are back online?
Yeah,
can you?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
All right. JIT, the Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 12,06, places certain obligations on the licensee. How would your station fulfill this legal requirement?
Commissioner, question.
Oh, you want the question repeated?
Yes, Commissioner.
All right. Can I repeat?
Just before you repeat the question, Ambassador Chijausiku, can you mute your microphone? Okay, go ahead, Commissioner Mapinda.
All right. The Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 12,06, places certain public service obligations on the licensee. If you are licensed JIT, how would your station fulfill this requirement?
Yes, we have to comply with the law and the statutory instruments that supporting the law in terms of the licensing fee, the registration fees, and also the contributions in terms of our income, maybe I believe between 2 to 4% in terms of that will go. Now I see there's a broadcasting commission that has been set up. So those are the kind of things that we'll all have to align and abide by the law. When it comes to the issues of abiding by the law and the requirements of the licensing conditions, that, Commissioner, we can guarantee you and we can categorically state here that we will abide. And with the support of BUZZ that will lead us through, I don't think we will see or encounter any issues before they even crop up. So BUZZ will be with us all the way. We'll be consulting with BUZZ, and I think it's going to be a 10-year journey that we're going to be while we build this this media giant called JIT, Just in Time. And we're actually looking forward to working with Buzz and educating us and informing us more about the policies and the bylaws that are restricted, that govern this exciting thing. We have a product, and the product also needs to be guided. And I believe that Buzz will do that and assist us in that process all along. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for highlighting the importance of the regulator. Commissioner Chiota.
Thank you, Chair. In terms of complaints, how do you think from your viewers? I want to assume when you package your wonderful programs, your viewers might not always be enthused by
your
what you
question
deal with.
again. You are breaking. Can you try again?
Thank you, Chair. Is it any better now?
Yeah, it's better. I hope it maintains that.
I think we've got.
Did you
My
get
question
the question
is to your consumers or audiences, and there are complaints from that front. How do you intend to address issues of complaints from your audiences or your clients?
Thank you, Commissioner Chiota. I've got that one. How we intend to address those issues. Basically, we are going to have promos, ads that are informing our viewers that if they do have a complaint, they can report that to the Broadcasting Complaints Authority. And in turn, the Broadcasting Authority will inform us of the miswrong or the irregularity that has happened, and will give us an opportunity to vet ourselves and vet that and answer. And ours is to abide by it. And if there's anything that is untoward and has gone through and slipped off cracks, basically there are the penalties that and the consequences that come with it. But over and above, ours is to inform and educate the viewers that they do have a right to complain about content. They do have a right to speak to the email at info@JIT and complain. And ours is to investigate the issue of the content, because you will get maybe one person complaining about a certain program when you've got 30 others that love it. So you are caught in between the commercial entity, but what the overriding factor is the ethos and the policy again that I keep emphasizing on, and our core values of morality, that there are policies that govern and guide the production and purchasing and commissioning of our content. And those policies are key and embedded in our values, which clearly state and categorically state about your religion, defaming religion, cultural and ethnicity backgrounds, enticement, and all those kind of things. So we too have policies within our broadcasting and commissioning center that will govern us in terms of the kind of content and protecting us so that it does not happen that such is faced with. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Commissioner Mandipaka.
JIT television. Let us look at the Broadcasting Services Act. It requires that broadcasters make and keep records of every program broadcast. Explain briefly how you intend to comply with the requirements of this act if issued with a license.
Commissioner, thank you so much. When issued with a license, we are accountable not only to ourselves, we are accountable to our viewers, we are accountable to our advertisers, sponsors, and supporters and stakeholders at large. So our systems in terms of our FCC playout center is going to have a storage facility of note that can be able to carry content for more than 20 years, plus backed up on different servers. So we will have a server-based electronic filing system of content that whatever is broadcast on the minute, on the hour is recorded. And most importantly, the system that we have does not just do an as-run run, log run. It actually captures the actual picture of the program going out at that particular time. So it's also being accountable to our advertisers when they come on board. They want proof at times that has this gone out. So we can go in and say your program went out at such and such a time. The system we have captures it with the picture and the time. So sometimes the people would come, I've experienced this in the past, where they would come and say, no, it didn't go out. Then we show them the time. They say, no, the flighting code is not our code. But now what we are doing, we've taken the system a step further, where we capture the actual content, and we can have showrooms that we print that go into the filing system. So our filing system carries content for beyond 20 to 50 years. And remember that content is key. Content forms, this new content we produce today becomes part of content that forms documentaries in terms of research. So most of our content is for life. So that's why the electronic servers that we have, which we've started installing in certain areas, those servers will protect us from also corrupt files and losing our content. And also because one thing we need to understand that content is part of our heritage and it should be saved. Thank you, Commissioner.
To add on that, Commissioner, records will be kept for 6 months within the broadcaster. Then after we'll surrender to the National Archives for safekeeping.
Thank you. Commissioner Chakanyuka.
Thank you, Chair. Jits, can you briefly, very briefly, talk to us about the Censorship and Entertainment Control Act? What do you understand by it?
Briefly, thank you, Commissioner. What I understand by it is ratings. It's ratings, 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 and ratings alone. How we classify them in terms of the parental guidance, vulgar nudity, and other stuff that we will have to confirm. The content or the rating will always be on the top left corner of our screen. It will inform parents, it will inform individuals the rating standards of that particular show. And this is a standard which is a norm that has to be followed internationally. And this comes from the ratings agencies across the world that have put designated symbols and signs that actually depict and show the ratings age from nudity to vulgar to whatever in a proper packaged way. We do have the symbols, some of them we can create them in-house, but the ratings are clear, and those are clear definitions of the protection of that particular section. Thank you.
Okay, let us move on. Commissioners, if your question has been answered, you just tell us to pass. Let's go on. Commissioner Mapinda.
Right. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Jit, can you clarify on the local content requirement for television broadcasters as provided for in the Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 12,06?
Thank you, Commissioner. That one says it says the total of 75%, which will include our local and Africa, to come up to 75%. But if you've noticed in our presentation, we've taken it up to 80% local. We've actually bridged local as 50%, and Africa is on 30%, and we've put international and other on 20%. So we will have taken care of that in terms of our program percentages and our program requirements that will meet the Broadcasting Services Act in terms of the content percentages local.
Okay, thanks. Commissioner.
All right, thank you. Over to you, Chair.
Okay, so in line with that, perhaps you can just quickly share with us the percentage that you envisage being produced by independent producers.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, thank you, Commissioner. JIT-TV will produce 75 local content, but this includes that 35% will be produced within Jit-TV and 40 within the, with the independent producers. And 75% being the 80% drama, local drama, and 80% being educational, and another 80% being current affairs. I know the numbers that don't add up, but that's what it's being, it's being given as regulated.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Mandipaka, is your next question still relevant?
No, Chair, that question has been addressed. We can go past that question. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Chakanyuka.
My question has also been addressed, sir. We can pass.
Okay, who had the question on explicitness?
Yes, that one has been addressed when we spoke about the Censorship and Entertainment Act.
Thank you. Commissioner Mapinda.
All right, thank you, Chair. Jit, what measures do you intend to take in order to protect consumers from content that is undesirable to them?
There's restriction guidelines, and there's a number of other stuff. It also involves our content and acquisition policy will be directed and drafted in manners that shows the social consciousness of our moral fiber of who we are. So there are other measures as well in terms of the delivery of content to the studio from outside or independent contractors or content producers, as we may call them. Content will have to come to the studios 7 days before broadcast, so that they've got to go through our QCC, final control check. We will have a team of quality assurance that will view content frame by frame, second by frame, and will be ticking the boxes until the content meets. We will not take content that comes to the studios 3 days before broadcast, because that is where there's a lot of loopholes. Producers can come, take advantage, and maybe there's a sponsorship that's within that content and has embedded it, or there's some content that has gone in there. I'll take you back, Commissioner, to the days of Betamaxes. Content used to be produced on Betamax tape. If you remember, we had a producer that once produced content, and this content was like something event. However, he came through 3 days before the broadcast, the repeat broadcast, and said, please put this thing on. We play, and people took advantage that it's somebody that they knew. They took it, they put it on air, only to find out that during the content itself on that Betamax, it had some other explicit content that was totally untoward. So the experiences that I have gone and the team has gone in this broadcasting space has given us so much knowledge that we can implant and embed into this television channel, and we'll be able to protect ourselves from that. We've walked the road before, so we will not be able to walk the same road before. So we are well versed in terms of the broadcasting structures, from the content arrivals to the quality controls, to what needs to go on and not go on the air, who is responsible for this going on air and stuff like the sign-off processes. And also, what's more important as well is the program that we commission, our programs that we will be commissioning. There will be strict guidelines. If it's going to be kiddies, it will have to adhere to the kiddies programming, which will also encompass the advertising revenue around the kiddies programming in terms of what content can be advertised around that. I hope that covers you, Commissioner.
Can I have a follow-up question on that one?
Okay, go ahead.
In the same vein, how would you deal with news content? News comes instantaneously, and you said you can do the content which comes 3 days prior, but the news can come abruptly. How would you deal with the same issue?
There's censorship there, and news, from my understanding of news, most of it is pre-recorded, Commissioner. News, to me, in the years I've worked in the broadcasting industry, it came from the acronym North, South, East, West. That was news. The only news that is really live that comes in abrupt is some of the studio news, your current affairs, and the ones on the road when people are doing their stuff like that. But however, there's a system called a VChip that is there these days that goes in and you log in certain categories and certain names or lists that you don't want to go out. And that VChip automatically picks up, it beeps it, and it will beep out that word. So we've got that. We've got a system that we can put into place that will control all those flows and the abruptness. And another thing that's very important, which we have to mention, there's a screening process that we have to do, especially on call-ins, so that no viewer or anyone can phone in and say what they want without impunity or no follow-through. When you call in, your name, your details, where you stay, and stuff like that, Mkoba 1, Village 2, it will be there, your phone numbers, and then you are given the right passage to go through. That in case you've done anything wrong or said anything untoward on our platform, we will find a way, a tracking system of getting hold of you. The very same tracking system that COVID has done, it came with its glitches and its badness, but it has taught us to track the COVID disease in terms of the contaminations. And that's how we will track our contaminations lines through those 4 call-in systems. And another thing what we will do, we will screen and vet most of the people before they call. So it starts there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry,
Thank you
Commissioner,
very
if you can, if
Yeah.
I can just be allowed to add on what Mr. Mackenzie is saying in terms of information coming through either through the advertising or news that would have come through in sort of emergencies. So I think basically what we're trying to say is to summarize, we will put advisory notices on advertising in the event that maybe the product that is being sold might have some adverse effects on viewers. Advisory notices will be placed on advertisements. And when it comes to news that might have probably pictures that might find other people of nervous disposition might not find suitable for viewing, advisory notices will be placed on such news or adverts that will be coming through. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think we can move to Commissioner Jota.
Thank you, Chair. Please take us through the restrictions that advertising content must follow before being aired, as well as how you as JIT-TV intend to actually address these issues.
Thank you, Commissioner Chiwata. The restrictions, there are a number of them. There's the age restrictions, the parental guidance, and most importantly, there's the drinking, the age restrictions in terms of drinking and the consumption of alcohol and tobacco, and also in terms of the broadcast times, in terms of certain alcohols, and some of the content and consumables, which will clearly state they have to state the age category strictly not for the age of this, or cigarettes and stuff cannot be bought by kids of underage, and smoking is dangerous and causes harm. So those are the kind of restrictions in terms of some of those that have to go in. And then secondly, for how do we protect that as well as that? We look at advertisers and we also protect the advertiser as well. But sometimes they go on air not knowing they push the boundary, they like to push the boundary a little bit with a bit of tongue in cheek, and they think that's the way marketing should always be, and normally getting them into trouble unconsciously. So in advertising, for example, we will not allow back-to-back advertisers. We will not have a Jeep advertising together with the Mercedes-Benz because it's all counterproductive and it's all in bad taste. It will be placed in ads that are 30 seconds to 45 seconds apart and stuff like that. So there's a mechanism in terms of the advertising standards that has to come. We too have the protocols within and the system to say to ourselves, this is what abides by the laws and the lens of the Broadcasting Authority in Zimbabwe. And for us to avoid that, how do we incorporate that into our internal policies? So those are things that we've looked at and we've incorporated them in our initial processes as a firewall process before content can get anywhere. Content will not be produced and just go onto air overnight. It's the very same thing with television ads. They will be strictly marked, registered, communicated with flighting codes, details 30-second stroke, this stroke, English stroke, Shona stroke, Ndebele. It will tell us what ad it is. It will be viewed. That ad will be viewed in the very same context that content is checked with, in terms of the language, in terms of what it's saying and everything, before it goes out. And if it's deemed to be not worthy of broadcast, a formal process, a written process is communicated back to the supplier of the content that your in-code, out-code of this time on this thing here is not within the broadcast. Can you revisit? If he hasn't, we don't broadcast it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Mandy Parker.
Thank you, GT. There are procedures provided in the Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 12.06, on advertisement relating to medicines, which a broadcaster must follow before broadcasting such advertisement. Would you take us through the requirements and how is your station going to deal with the issue of advertisements relating to medicines?
How we deal with that, the legal and regulatory department will have the legal obligations from the Department of Health that will clearly stipulate the schedules and which ones cannot. There are some ads that will tell you that you can lose weight in 14 days. They don't tell you you have to gym or stuff to lose weight. So those are kind of the things that we've got to look in. And if I'm right,
Thank you, Chair. For example, Chair, if someone comes with medicine and say, this medicine will cure AIDS, we cannot put that on air. What we need, we'll need the proof from, or the approval from the Minister of Health.
Can I just to add on that, first and foremost, medicines and pharmaceutical companies are guided by regulations by the Medicines Control Council of each country. And so therefore, as a broadcaster, we have to abide by the marketing code of conduct outlaid for the medical industry, which does not allow a pharmaceutical company to state claims that have not been ethically proven in line with clinical studies that support that content. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm sure you want to follow up? Or we proceed? Commissioner Chakanyuga.
No, Chair, I'm convinced.
Thank you, Chair. Still on the issue of advertising. How would you deal with the issue of sponsored programs on your television station? And how is your station going to deal with the issue of sponsorship? Also, how will you handle news and current affairs programming in this regard of advertising and sponsorship? May I kindly request that you answer the question that I have asked? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Advertising is key. Advertising is a key component to our self-sustainability. And but however, there are guidelines that we have to follow. In terms of the sponsorship of news cannot be sponsored. Current affairs programs cannot be sponsored because they have any news that is sponsored, it will create a negative impact in terms of one day we want to report about this particular brand. We cannot because we now have an alliance because they're funding to this year. So news is a no-no. You cannot fund news. News has to be told as is, no sponsors. Maybe they can sponsor the weather brought to you by the Zimbabwean Weather Broadcast Unit that they can do in conjunction with the Zimbabwean Police or Kids Foundation. That can happen. But on the news content, news is an independent, uninterrupted form of content that no one should be able to be forced into influencing indirectly or directly. So that's
well answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Mapinda.
Thank you. JIT, in your programming, how do you wish to protect children from harmful content?
The kids are the key to our future, and this entertainment channel is based on the kids' interests. There will be restrictions. There will be information that actually speaks to parents an information buzz. We'll have crawlers that will communicate to parents. And also, the beautiful thing, Commissioner, is that we've got digital migration coming, which is a critical component of why we are here today. It brings joy to my heart that I see Zimbabwe has moved to a step and stride that no one has ever moved. And we haven't spoken digital migration. Digital migration is going to have the processes and policies and systems and integrated systems within those set-up boxes to control that. Today, we're moving from the set-up box to a smart TV. Smart TV, we can be able to play and lock a lot of things. So technology is moving above us and it's helping us put the controls into place. And I've seen the policies on the digital migrations and the setup box and the encryptions and the decryptions that BAS has authorized through the KU band. Very exciting stuff. I've been on Jit-Tv since 2019. I was the first one to champion the digital migration process. And the digital migration system process is giving us an opportunity to give Zimbabweans what they need, a variation of content. Hence today, we are speaking to you today, Commissioner. So ours is to protect the kids by the very same V-chip system as well. And it's also to continue informing on air through our programming content. And what's critical as well, if you look at the channel discomposition of our team, it's gender-based, 50% women, 50% male, perfect opportunity. We have mothers and fathers. And as a mother of a nation, mothers are more cautious to the upbringing of the child and no child. And when a mother is involved, we know we are guaranteed for protection. We don't, most of us, Nandina Baba, I didn't run to my father. I would run to my mama. So what I'm trying to say is that when we control content, we will have the influence and the experience and the intellectual property as a mother that will also be looking at those kind of things, what can and what cannot be consumed by kids. And the age restrictions are going to be there. There's so much that we can do, and there's so much which we will do when we do that. On the top right, the top left corner, you will see the age restrictions that will come through. And what's important as well, our content, especially on the kiddies programs, Commissioner, I've been speaking to local producers. We are going to produce our own kiddies programs in different vernacular language. We are going to be producing programs that can speak to kids in Shona, English, Ndebele, Tonga, and everything. So we will be able to narrate the good stories that we need to tell. And I'm saying, Commissioner, we will not allow outside or third force influences in terms of one, trying to jeopardize our relationship with the broadcasting authority, or to try and influence otherwise, or to influence kids into buying vehicles, or influence kids. There are ads that talk like that, but we know what the moral obligations we have to do to protect that kind of content, and that kind of content will not be permissible on Jit-Tv. Because we currently just on time in terms of what we have, in terms of technology, in terms of experience and that's around us. And I think our HR can handle, add more there if she needs.
Okay, we need to make progress now. Commissioner Chakanyuga.
Commissioner Chiwota has got our last question, Chair.
Okay.
Thank you for the elaborate explanations. I think in just maybe less than a minute, you could speak to us about your role as a television station licensee in an election period. How does it work out for you?
In the election period, Commissioner, thanks. There are rules and regulations that govern and regulate election material. And there are percentages for every political party that are designed to give them to advertise or promote their stuff. But towards the end of all the advertising material, we as a channel, we're obligated, and when I say we're obligated, to make mention at the end of the ad, a 5-second or 3-second sting that clearly disowns us from that particular content, that the content being broadcast there are not the views and what of the public and what all as JIT-TV. So those are the kind of things that were there, that will be put into there. We will look at the percentages, and during the election period, they will be offered those percentages directed to us by the Zimbabwe Election Commission, which they do get, and they will be used in those manners. They are normally broken down in terms of the election events, how many we can give them, whether it's 2, 3, or 1, and that is what they get. We are not going to have individuals pushing the bar to try and get other kind of stories by creating a fracas elsewhere so that our crew can run and go and record them making noise. Commissioner, the camera is a very bad tool. It can influence things in a positive or a very bad way. So we, as an independent broadcaster, a commercial one for that matter, we should be very cautious in terms of the nature of events that we deem usable and consumable, that are deemed, that do not influence a certain thing. You can take a camera to an event where somebody will be sitting pretending like as though they're on strike and then on strike. But at the end of the day, when the camera arrives there, he's standing, he's like as though he's lame and he's carrying a board. So people who are not experienced in this field, they will run and go all over, and then it entices. So we're not fall guys for these things. We are experts in terms of this industry, and we know how to protect our interests in order to tell the good story. Thank you, Commissioner.
Sorry, Commissioner, if I can be allowed to just add to what Mr. Mackenzie has said in terms of advertising or the presentation of programs during an election period. I think what we can basically say is that as JIT-TV, I believe you did ask us questions that are aligned towards our national objectives as demonstrated in our constitution of Zimbabwe. So I think the most important thing is obviously during elections, the two either parties that are trying to win votes from the electorate. So most importantly, I think one of our key issues is we'll very much find the importance in ensuring that we maintain national unity, peace and stability, and make sure that whatever reporting that we do does not provoke or promote any disharmony in the country during the election period. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let us look a bit into the some legal aspects in your application. Can we start with Commissioner Chiwota again?
Thank you, Chair. So now we go into your shareholding. We want to just have a bit more understanding. We note that Memory Tongogara holds 40% shares, Derek Mackenzie holds 30%, and Simbarashe Tongogara holds 30%, which makes up the 100%. But we also note that these same three people are also co-directors in your application, and that these same people have been penciled to run with the management portfolio if licensed. So our question therefore is, you are going to be the board as well as management. How do you manage to then be accountable to yourselves and only to yourselves? How then can we, why should we think about trusting you with a rare commodity such as the national frequency when you are accountable to no one but yourselves, because you make the decisions, you make the policies, and then you are the ones who also decide whether to implement or not? What is it that should excite us about you in relation to corporate governance?
Thank you, Commissioner. What should excite you in terms of the corporate governance is that everything we do is aligned to the Public Finance Management Act. That's where we start. And I know where you're going, and I totally respect and acknowledge your question that you want to see clarity, you want to see transparency in terms of what we want to offer, how we run and what we do. The issue you are bringing onto the table is the issue of segregation of duties. And it's true. Memory Tomogara owns 40% in terms of the gender-based thing. Her role is as Chief Operational Officer. She plays an oversight role in the portfolios of the operations. She's not going into the management. It is unfortunate that Simba is not in there, is not part of the management team. The management team, as seen, was myself, Sikita, Lynn Hensel, and Felton, and Unati, as schedule side, in terms of the operation side. The segregation of duties is very critical in terms of an oversight role. We are also, and we are going to be creating portfolios responsible for certain sectors. The finance portfolio is handled by the finance guy that is an oversight of this, where they feed into. So what you're seeing there, and the most unfortunate thing in a setup of this nature, we cannot ignore certain skills, like the skills that Derek comes with, in terms of his technical ability and technology aspects. That is a skill we cannot ignore totally. But over and above, he will be playing an oversight role for the build-up of this whole thing. And with due time, I can guarantee you, Commissioner, you will definitely see the segregation of duties. And when awarding us this license, you can clearly state that as part of the conditions, that that is what you want to see in X amount of time, and we will definitely do that for you. I'm not on the board of directors. I am the CEO, and it was for this particular reason we carefully considered all those particular permutations. And once again, thank you, Commissioner, for asking that, to give clarity to the Commission and to Zimbabweans at large. We don't want to own and control this thing. Yes, we are starting it up. We want this industry or this channel to be a channel for the people, by the people, as our slogan says. That's why when we talk about job creation, we need to take it a step further and talk about hiring companies, not only hiring individuals. We need Zimbabwean companies to be the service providers for this particular entity. So I think that's where we are.
Yes, to add, Commissioner, part of our structure, the board of directors will have committees of the board of directors in line with what international standards on corporate governance would want. Membership in those committees will make sure that majority is people from outside the company. Like if we have our auditing, the chair of that auditing committee will be person from outside, and the majority of composition will be people from outside. That way, it will make us to comply. If anything is going wrong, they will have a duty to report. Thank you.
Yeah, just to maybe sum it up there, Chair, it is the fiducial duties of the overseer to make sure that they do not overdo the overreaching policies. It is unfair to see a head overreaching and trying to influence content. That means our structure will not be right and you cannot trust. But however, there are systems where you can clearly see that it's an oversight role in the implementation stages of our station. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think the next one is Commissioner Mapinda.
Right. JIT, Section 8, Subsection 7, Paragraph A of the Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 12,06, provides that the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe shall not issue a license to an applicant or any debt of applicant who has been declared insolvent or bankrupt or made an arrangement or composition with the creditors which has not been rescinded or set aside. Although you indicated that applicants' directors have never been declared insolvent or bankrupt, they have liquidated or discharged or made an assignment to or arrangement or composition with the creditors which has not been rescinded or set aside, you did not provide affidavits to back up your assertion. Can I kindly ask if you are able to provide affidavits to back up your claim?
Yes.
As your application.
Thank you, Commissioner. We are, and that's one of the way the measures that you will prove, that we will prove. that we are law-abiding citizens. At your request, those things can be done. And it's unfortunate that there was a time that most of the stuff was meant to be done. The restrictions on travel with the corona has impeded us, but no excuse to this. On request, that can be done. We will definitely submit them to you. You can give us a duration period. We'll make sure that we can get the board of directors to go in and to do the necessary requirements and sign the affidavits, do the police clearances and everything. But we can assure you that we will abide by the set time that you'd want the information. We will do as you want us to do. And it was an omission on our side, if I may say, Commissioner. But it was an omission that was a genuine one because of the restrictions of travel. But now that they've been lifted, we can do it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
So can you please do so?
Commissioner Duna, are you there? If she's not there, maybe Commissioner Mzesha, you can take the question.
Yes, she's not there. So I'll take the question. Is JIT, in terms of the Broadcasting Services Act, Chapter 1206, the Broadcasting Authority does not issue a license to an applicant whose directors have been convicted of an offense in terms of the Broadcasting Act and the Postal and Telecommunications Act. So you did not provide police clearances to prove that you do not have convictions under those acts which are quoted in the Broadcasting Act.
Thank you, Commissioner. Together with the insolvency and affidavits that were made mention earlier, we will supply the information ASAP, and we can guarantee you and confirm that we will abide by that in the next coming days, or as and when you want it, we'll do that to show how we are abiding citizens once again. And that is very true. It's a critical element in terms of our PFMA, Public Finance Management Act. Our board of directors need to be clean so that we can be trusted. And the only way we can be trusted, Commissioner, is by us supplying and delivering that information, which we will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think Commissioner Mzeshe, you can finish the last question.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. Is you indicated on page 17 of your application that the station will have many sources of revenue post-licensing. However, the source of the startup budget mentioned on page 18 of the application was not mentioned, was not clarified. So can you please clarify on the source of the startup budget?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner, for raising the funding issue. The source at startup funding is funding that the channel, as we said earlier, is self-funding. It's coming in and coming from our board of directors and are self-funding this particular investment. As you are aware, Commissioner, the majority of our directors and our team have served and worked on international companies, some own their own companies. So the startup funding is there, which will be granted to JIT on a 0% increase. It is a funding that is there to invest. It's an investment opportunity that we are bringing home to Nzamaredu, Umusha. That's what we're doing. We're using our own personal money to invest home. And what a way we can do it in this thing. We are personally bringing our own finances. We are bringing our own money to fund the whole project. It is a self-funding project with no other entities. We don't want to have allegiances or alliances by certain categories that we will be soon forced to account to or to do that. This is our baby. If we believe in it, we must put our horse where the mouth, our mouth where, yeah, exactly. But however, we need to put the money ourselves. We cannot believe and want to have this opportunity, but but we are not prepared to put our own dollar before we can even ask for anything else. So we believe in this thing, and we are going to do it. We're going to do it. The industry on its own, the experiences that we have, that we come with, are willing and able to assist us in terms of from OB events to electronic stuff. Commissioner, I'm talking from the bottom of my heart, Panagua. We can do wonders, and we will do wonders. We are going to give Zimbabwe an opportunity they've never seen before. This is our passion. We are seeing this not only as a business opportunity, we're seeing it as a passion, as an opportunity to unify us. It's always depressing to guys news. I don't watch news anymore. Everything you hear instead is Zimbabwe that, Zimbabwe that. People in the diaspora as Zimbabweans or Zimbabweans back home are even afraid to walk around and label themselves as Zimbabweans. That stigma needs to stop. It will stop now with JIT, because no one has showed who we are. No one has shown. We talk about our education, we talk about anything, but we now need to put it into practice. And as you know, that broadcasting and entertainment thing, it's about talent. We have not nurtured and upskilled our talent. This is an opportunity that if you are core and keen and we come together as a collective, we can do wonders within the coming months at the stipulated time. Chair and Commissioner, the opportunity that is presented before us is not an opportunity that anyone can take lightly. It's not an opportunity that can be left unscrutinized, unclarified, and uncertified. And this process is actually doing that. And we thank you for it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll continue a bit into your finances. Commissioner Mapinda.
Right, Jit, what measures have you put in place to ensure the sustainability of the business in the event of failing to break even in the projected year?
Thank you, Commissioner. Adeline Hensel mentioned earlier when she was doing the marketing presentation, we're going to come up with a certain model that has never been seen before, where we were talking about a channel for Zimbabweans by Zimbabweans, and how do they become this? In any membership card dynamos. That's how it is. So we are going to have a JIT membership card, where it's a subscription card, where people will be able to qualify for different discounts in retails this year. They will get front row seats to our events, our music events, all this year they'll get that first time information. So they will get, so that subscription of a certain amount, they get VIP treatment to anything that is JIT. And they will be also part of influencing or being part of a content discussion to say, what content do we want? Those will be the first people we'll go to say, this is what we have. What is it that you think we need to do to add on to this? They will give us an indication and pointers as we to go. So we will have that. And then secondly, if you look at the infrastructure development, I've said, Commissioner, we have identified a land. It is there. Iripo. We are ready. It's number 19 Main Street, Bugwero. It is there. So we're not talking jokes, or we're talking of something which is this has been a 5-year project, and we've put it together. I remember a couple of years ago, I think it was 2009, this very same process went through. And there was 2 people that, Tapa TV and something that went through, but unfortunately they did not qualify. And I think it was a good thing. It was a preparation for us to get to know this part better and the coming of DTT. And that's why the acronym Just in Time is so defined to us, because they my license paper would not be here today. But Havana, that's why we're here today. You are going to get the best. And I believe in this process, and I know this process is going to get the best out of Zimbabwe for what Zimbabweans really need. We want to put nice things, to my nice on TV. We are going to make it fashionable to watch TV again in Zimbabwe. That's where we're at.
Just to add on what Mr. McKenzie has said, is that the JIT reward cards, we will partner with retail, with the retail sector and corporate companies, including clothing companies, etc. And JIT members will also benefit from retail discounts by gaining points that they can use at a later date, accumulative.
Yeah, sorry, I missed a critical point there. Commissioner, I'm so sorry. Remember that the infrastructure costs in the beginning, they will come where you're with your apex. The apex costings of this particular budget is where the bulk of the money is going to go into your infrastructure, technology, office setting up, and everything. Year two, Commissioner, we're not going to go in and rebuild a building again and so no. That money that was saved, that was for infrastructure, will be going in as a rollover kitty. While advertising revenue may not boom, but it is believed, according to research that I know I've seen, 9% in the revenue from 3 months of inception, you can be able to grow your revenue based on your rate card and your schedule to about 9% per growth and that's why if you look at our projection to us hitting the top mark, which is the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, we are just projecting it a year-on-year cautiously rate of 9%. But the infrastructure costs, yet my offices are together, we will not take them out of the budget. They will remain in the kitty and they'll become a rollover until such. And the key point is that the money being invested in there is an investment zero free loan to Jit-TV from the shareholders, the stakeholders, meaning us ourselves, Commissioner.
Thank you. My next question to you is, artists such as musicians that are featured on television are paid with royalties through organizations such as Zimura. In your cash flow projection, you did not provide for this. How do you intend to compensate them for their work that you will use in your programming?
Thank you very, very much, Commissioner. This is a question that is painful to a lot of people. I've seen artists depart us as paupers. I think if you've noticed in our promo, I think we'll also play it again towards the end. Yep, just have it ready, please. That promo. We played the Bundu Boys song and the soundtrack. I went as far as tracking the Bundu Boys members as far as London to get the concession to play the song, only to get there to find out what the Sekuvang. And Sekuvang was the story no matter that's happening here. But this song here has been ceded royalties I will not mention to people, and they've not been paid for years for this thing here. And it struck a very core to me, how do we rectify, how do we fix this? It gives me goosebumps. So what we are going to do, Commissioner, we are going to have my FCC cue sheets I've mentioned before, where programs and like music will be QCC'd. Every music that goes out on air on the playlist will be marked and tagged, compiled monthly, and remittance done to Zimura. We will compile what we've broadcast according to the ASROM runs and look at it, look at the percentages that have to go out, and whatever percentage that has to go to the artists must go to the artists so that they can continue doing what they're doing or continue to live a good life. Ours is not to keep their money. Ours is not to grow ourselves. If we want to grow, we cannot grow an entertainment channel without taking on the care and the needs for our particular artists. There's sponsorships that will be looking. Some of these artists are going to become celebrities on our platform, presenting and hosting shows. These artists are going to be the gateway for our viewers to come through. So we are going to have and the ASROM runs that will list the playlist by hour, by day, because to be honest, Commissioner, that question is very critical, because what happens as well is that you can have a presenter who has a tendency to bypass, or a DJ to bypass and play his own music, so it can have the adverse effect on the other side where they are paid to play this one's music, and it can override the system. But there are systems we have today that a presenter and a compiler will not be able to just sit there and compile a list and put in music as they wish. But what's important to Zimura is that Zimura and us will have to join another covenant in terms of saying, how do we account, how do we remit, and when is this supposed to be done? But that is something which is a must, and it has to be done as an ASAP. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Let's get moving. Commissioner Mamvura.
Jit, my question you have already answered 3 times. It was about the capital outlay. and we have the answer, you're going to provide the capital outlay yourselves at zero rated interest. So that question has been answered. Thank you. I won't be asking you. On a lighter note, I'm a Dynamo supporter.
Ambassador Jijausi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. JIT, Statutory Instrument 27 of 2020, Chapter 12.06 requires television licensee to pay annual license.
We lost you.
Aloshe, can I read out this question?
Yeah, yes, we lost him.
All right. Statutory Instrument 27 of 2020, Chapter 12.06 requires the television licensee to pay annual license fees and monthly frequency fees. In your cash flow projection, you did not provide for any of these. How do you intend to comply with the statutory requirement if you do not budget for them?
Thank you, Commissioner. As you are aware that there's a digital migration process that's taking shape. And from my understanding, the Q-band is close to 99% done, with a bit of spillover on the South African border into Botswana and on the other side is Zambia. But those are containment and catchment areas based on the digital migration system. But to be fair, Commissioner, people will talk broadcasting without understanding the nitty-gritty of broadcasting. It is not easy to produce local content. It is expensive. Two, moving from the analog to terrestrial is very expensive. There is going to be a dual elimination process for those signal to transponders. And after the dual elimination process, when Zimbabwe does switch off, you will have to reach so many transponders that will cost more money to get that. So we have to sit down with the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe and identify those particular transponders and the cost effectiveness of how much does it cost for us to reach our viewers. We might have a transponder behind the hill, it'll end there by money, but there'll be nothing, it can't get there. So those are the kind of things that we need to look at. And over and above, our budget that you see there has a giveaway, a leeway of 10% escalation, either or for either miscellaneous on the total capex invested there. So we are covered. We are covered. We understand where we'll go. And in actual fact, Commissioner, there are certain things that we are going to get, which we can get, the report already, that do not need even money that are in that budget. So monies will be moved according to where the budget expectations are and where it has to go, because broadcasting is key and content is key to where we need to go. So over and above the licensing fees that have to be paid monthly, there's the signal distribution costs that have to be paid. And then it's taken to another level where there is, I think it's a 4 to 2% fee that goes to a commission, and that money goes into funding community radios and everything. That is our obligation in terms of bringing that sector. There are all those things that are contributing to the GDP, which we are obligated as a business, especially moreover, Commissioner, being a commercial entity, we have to abide by the sustainable processes, by doing what is right and giving out what they deserve. Because Buzz will not be able to give us signal if we do not pay them. Buzz will need to pay ZESA. So the whole chain and the domino effect of our lapse in any area affects the whole chain. So we don't want to be that domino that falls onto everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Mamvura, please.
JIT, can you assure us that when you bring your members police reports, you also bring us a cash projection? It was missing in your package.
Yes. Thank you, Commissioner. We'll do that. We'll submit that.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. Let's have a look at some aspects of your technical presentation. Audrey, Commissioner Chota.
Thank you, Chairperson. Just a quick look at your technical aspects, the technical aspects of your application. As you may already be aware, and as you indicated in your presentation, you seem to see that modern playouts fault tolerant is possible. I would love for you to explain to us how your proposed playout system will ensure that you meet this particular standard.
Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner. Broadcasting is a 24-hour game. And when we say it's a 24-hour game, and so is entertainment is our game. So we cannot entertain if we are not on air. We cannot entertain if we don't have AMA blacks on air, whites on air, and AMA glitches. We are going to have first and foremost, a staffing capacity that is rotational and shift with a pool of FCC people that we are going to train that will come and work at the station 24 hours on shift, morning, afternoon shift. The rotation system will be done. Some of them will be there. So then over and above, so those will look out at what goes out on air. I remember when we were moving, sometimes content has a glitch on air, it gets stuck, and on the end server, it could be stuck and they don't even know. So those are the things where they have to clean it out or whatever, because a lot of the content, remember, Commissioner, is coming from the old age. Most of it, especially if you're going to do documentaries, it's coming with dust, it's coming with everything. So my scratches, so it can just get stuck on air. And who's there? You need the manpower to do that, to move it and stuff like that. That's the skills. Then we go into the technical side. We are going to have systems that before content goes out on air, it is quality checked and it is ingest for sound quality, pops, color bars, all this and stuff, in and out codes, which could affect the whole broadcasting chain. Because when loaded, it can push up, because time on television costs you a lot, to the extent, if time goes out not utilized, it is time it's perished. It's just as good as buying a tomato and we don't cook them in 3 months and think we can have them. Once tomato airtime is very perishable, it's an overnight perishable good. That if there's no ad in there and that advertising slot costs you $60,000 hypothetically to put it in there, and you've not put it in there, it's gone the following day. So it's a loss. So the systems that we are going to have backup systems. We are going to have chips and electronic gadgets in the system that we have that will be able to detect everything right across. Plus, we will have Buzz working with us with a backup system for Buzz and more microfibers. We're going DTT. We are not going to have problems. Problem, what I'm showing you, it's not in time with us. There is systems there that the days of having a dinosaur building 50 stories, 20 stories to house a broadcasting entity are gone. There are days where, even when you talk of outside broadcasting, how are we going to do these things here? We've got flyaway kits these days, where a cameraman and a producer can go with the kit bag and pop in. You've got cameras with already SIM cards, where we're recording live events like what we're doing currently. If you can see the back end of our office, the young guys that we have are actually doing all these things here. So there are systems, Commissioner, that are there, accessible, and are available. It is just how and who are you going to speak to get them. We will, and another thing is that you will have a dual system in terms of your play out. One will be embedded in the cool room. The other one will be on the outside with the FCC because of the cold temperatures in the fan. Because these things are sustainable to heat and everything, so we've got to be careful. But however, we are also guaranteed our backup in terms of the solar system. As we all know, Commissioner, Zimbabwe is one of the best suns and sunsets in the world. But we're not capitalizing on that. The sun is a precious commodity, just like spectrum is to Zimbabwe. The spectrum is a government commodity, and for Buzz to be able to offer us some of your spectrum for us to broadcast our content is not only an honor, but it's a privilege, Commissioner. So ours is to do the due diligence that our systems will be interfaced with Buzz so that we have a seamless process. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. In the interest of time, Ambassador.
Thank you. Jit, quality control is very essential in broadcasting. How are you going to ensure quality control of studio productions and external video sources in your workflow?
Thank you, Commissioner. Once again, content can only be king and key when your quality is on point. How we're going to assure it, we've got standards, compression rates, all that in terms of the kind of content that we need to take. There are guidelines and stipulated commercial policy guidelines in terms of your ratios, your aspect ratios, your 16.9 and your 4424 bit rates, and what also does that, also the way up. But how are we going to check on in terms of the quality control? There are specs, there are regulations that we give in terms of the play out and what we need. And when the content gets into us, as I said before, 7 days before broadcast, that content is seen through and checked before it does. If it does not pass the sound and color bars, then it does not go through, it's rejected. And then we'll also have the security in terms of our premises. There's a lot of other things that add to the quality of content in terms of the HDMI, RAC cables that have to be used, what kind of equipment is going to be used to record those programs for us. If they can't get them, do we have access to get it for them so that they can use? Those are the kind of discussions that we'll have. Because to be honest, Commissioner, there is no broadcaster that will tell you that they can fill up an independent channel 24 hours, 24/7. You cannot do that. Otherwise, it's all going to look like the way we look, like Orange. So those are the systems we have. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Just in time, there's a requirement in the broadcasting services licensing and content regulations of 2004 that every licensee shall maintain copies of all off-air transmissions, recordings. How do you intend to comply with the provisions of this section?
This is a very exciting question, Commissioner. Thank you for this one. How we intend to comply, it's amazing that just a couple of weeks ago, together with a young team of engineers, we were designing storage facilities and chips and apps in terms of what are we going to do. We were brainstorming all this kind of stuff here. All information broadcast that goes out will be filed. It will be filed in our huge servers, and from there archived. Maybe Unatis just mentioned we can file content, if I'm right or wrong, Neil, up to 20, 30 years, and we can always present it as and when whoever needs it, because at the same breath, that content is content that we can sell. We would want to make documentaries out of that content. I remember in my previous entity where I worked, they were sabotaged in terms of the national broadcaster's content. And the broadcaster's content is no longer sitting with the national broadcaster in some entities. My content here, third force. They are the ones making and telling African stories on our behalf. They are the ones telling us who our icons should be and stuff like that. So for me, content is key to storage, and we need to protect our heritage. It falls under our heritage. We have to protect our heritage and our thing. And by so doing so, by virtue of being a broadcaster, we should also fall under the National Key Point Area Act, that we're safeguarded by internal forces, and we firewall it by our own processes in terms of what we do. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Chota.
Chair, I'll take the next three questions. The first one, okay. What is the compression standard you are going to use for your proposed system?
The proposed system in terms of the FCC, the Cloud Center?
Compression standard in the studio.
We're going to use 1080i compression bitrate.
Okay, and then what will be the video sampling rates that you intend to use in the studio and for transmission to the head end?
There's the transmission to the head end, especially on the DTT one, it's got to be crisp because we are moving into UDH. So we are going to use the 422 or 42, yeah? But the preferred one we would love to use, Commissioner, is the 16.9, because it gives us beautiful actual rates and compression bit rates. And the ACR cables and HDMI cables in terms of sound quality are seamless. So that's what we want to do. We want to try and be a step ahead of technology, or not too far behind it, because the DTT is coming in with the fourth industrial revolution, the 4IR. We need to come together in a way and say, do we catch up or do we play catch up? That's where we're at. So we have to play as a tactical, technological game, because technology can outsmart us, outbid us, and outwit us overnight if we don't make classical and clever decisions. For example, the system and the days of the these big OB vans are gone. Commissioner, maybe I'll give you a bit of the insight as well. Cricket Zimbabwe did not have a partnership in terms of broadcasting. All the broadcasters in the Southern African region, especially in some certain neighboring countries, refused to host them. It was the New Zealand, Pakistan, Bangladesh game. I was called overnight as a broadcaster in one of my forums. We managed to get the broadcaster on air for every game, and we had the highest viewership audience in and on our platform. And I was put onto television processes and programs. How did you pay for this? How did you do that? How did you do that? It is not about the monetary value that you lay out, but sometimes it's about the goodwill to your businesses, where there are forms of what we call trade exchange packages, which are seamless, which do not involve money. So there are barter deals and trade. So there are so many elements within the broadcasting sector that we can use. So in terms of equipment, that's why I'm going back in there as well. We've got context and access to equipment and cameras. Hence, we want to roll out these satellite studios in as much as the broadcasting center will be in Gweru. But my town, Madiki, Waraita, Sana Check, Gutu, Wanamtare, Wanakadome, and all. Wanamamas, what, our foot. We need to bring them there as well. So they will have those broadcast satellite studios, especially for kids with the student cards studying media, will be able to go in there, produce content, edit it, and learn the whole holistic thing of broadcasting as an art and deliver content to us. We want to encourage active citizenry, journalism, and positive news vibration. We want them to tell us, guys, move back. You understand? Things like that. We want to be a conscious society. So we can only be conscious by giving people what they know. And Commissioner, let us not undermine and undervalue the Zimbabwean audience. The Zimbabwean audience is a smart audience. They know their stuff. And Mangwana, when we put anything there, they will be able to tell us what we've done right and not wrong. They will judge us. So before we get that, we need to put the right stuff in. And obviously, we want to be updated with technology. We are not going to put stuff that is already 10 years out and then bring and use Zimbabwe as a dumping ground. We are not going to do that. Where Magumba Budam Fashion, they are now bringing them back because of the set-top box. I forgot to even mention with you that part of the presentation that I flew through is a bit confidential, but it's worth mentioning. We have partnered with a technical company that will be setting up structure in Zimbabwe. But the motherboards of a Zimbabwe television are soon to be realized. They will be manufactured here and assembled in Zimbabwe. So don't be surprised, Mugawata TV runs JIT. We are going there. Don't be surprised, through Buzz, we are going to be coming with proposals to produce even a cell phone. It is there. We have thrived, and this is the time. Thank you.
And then what is the output studio format which you are going to send to the national agent for transmission?
16.5.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ambassador?
Yes, one of the advantages of digital television is the ability to provide viewers with menu-based systems that displays scheduling information. Can you explain how your proposed solution will ensure viewers are well informed about program schedules?
Thank you so much. Our viewers, we will be the head end is a critical aspect to the digital migration process. And Zimbabwe is the most fortunate country, I would say, that the head end is controlled by bars. Where in Southern Africa, the head end is controlled by other entities. They run to control the head end so that whatever channels come in before theirs and content goes in there. Now, the fortunate thing is that bars is an independent entity. They serve to take care of the interests of everyone, fair and equally. So it's beautiful that the head end sends. So you will have program synopsis guides that will be ingested in our system and sent through to the head end. Content time, age, what episode who's featuring tonight, so that it is tailor-made as well to appeal to our advertisers and viewers. They want to see with the Jonah Arubita say Guararo in this particular episode, what is happening. So it will be mastered and crafted in such a way that each episode will be speaking to the particular episode and action in that. So that when the sales team goes out, they can go and sell, maybe they're talking about soap to wash your hands. That week in that episode, they talk about my hand sanitizers. We will get a hand sanitizer to sponsor that particular episode. Then they can talk and say, we've got nice hand sanitizer from that, so it becomes embedded. So those are the kind of systems that we have. Those are the kind of systems that are possible. And with the digital migration, we've got more of that information as well on our website. You can go on today and the scheduling, and you can see that our scheduling on our website is an interactive one. You can not go, because you've got a 24-hour schedule that will give you a lot. You can type in kids, you search for kids, you go to the kids column, it will tell you about which program, what these kids do, that and that. So our website is an up-to-date, gradually updated thing that will also be linked to the head end. Thank you.
Okay. I'm sure you have already talked about people with hearing impairments. Audrey, do you still have, do you still need to ask about people?
Chairperson, I think JIT have responded to my issue around the obscenities and the undesirable comments. Thank you. We can pass. I think we can also pass the question around the station ID. They've spoken to that. Perhaps I'll hand over to you now.
Okay, I think the next question has also been answered about sending signal to the head end. Are you still unanswered on your 10th question, Chota?
I'm good, Chairperson. I think we can proceed. They were very efficient in preempting the questions. Thank you.
Okay, Ambassador.
I think I've been answered. They covered the area that, you know, it's a security area that has been covered.
Thanks. This brings us to the end of questions from the panelists. Thank you. Just in time, it is now time for you to answer questions from members of the public.
Yeah, just in time.
Attendees, if any member of the attendees wants to ask a question, raise your hand. There's a hand again, Andrea Venter.
Thank you, Chairman. Jit, just a few questions from my side. Just looking through your presentation on your internet site. I see all sorts of lists of technology that you plan to put in. Just to name a few, you've got your FCCs, you've got 4 6-camera studios, you've got 4 fully equipped OB vans, you've got flyaway kits, you've got a whole list of stuff. But then when I get to your budget, it doesn't actually tie up for me, because you plan on only spending 4.5 million rand. I can't see that is even nearly possible to purchase such an amount of equipment. So I don't know, maybe you can explain that a little further to me.
Thank you, Chair. Is that Adrian? Hello?
It's Andre Venter.
Andre, good day to you, my buddy. Are you good? Everything is possible with JIT. And remember that the budget does not have to be a monetary budget, Andre. I've mentioned earlier that we've got stakeholders and friends and partners that we can get some of the stuff for free. Today, an OB van does not need to cost you 29 million rand. We can build, with our technical guys, an OB van of under 500,000 rand. So I don't see what's not impossible there. Give us the chance, we'll show you how possible it is. We can do it. We have it, Andre. So I don't understand when you use the term how possible it is. It is very possible, my brother. You can do it, without a doubt. I've done it before. Andre, if you know Tony TV on DSTV, channel 262 and 265 Cow TV, that's me. We put it together and we're bringing it home. Andre, be with us, support us. Let's grow this train. Let's not let the runaway train come with impossibilities and what can. If we put a plan down, we can do it, Andre. I promise you. And it's a progressive achievement. But what's critical to this plan, Andre, is that it is possible and we can.
Yeah, look, I mean, I'd like to see it, to be honest. Maybe just to introduce myself, I worked for DSTV for a long time, just as long as you worked for SABC. I worked for DSTV for 25 years. I worked for Supersport and built a lot of their technology and solutions. And hence my skepticism is the word, easy for me to say. Skepticism of seeing a 4.5 million rand infrastructure for building and studios to build all that technology. It just, I would like to see it happen.
Andre, if you've been at SABC, multi-trace, 2 years less of my 25 years of experience. And I'll tell you this, that your 2 years less, there was huge changes in those 2 years. The technology that multi-trace has today, they've shipped them out. Multi-trace, the very same multi-trace you're doing, they are supporting and enriching lives through community broadcasters. They are setting up broadcasting units for community broadcasters in the sector here. So at the SABC, we had dinosaur equipment, which does not exist anymore. We don't need it, we don't use it. So yes, as I mentioned earlier, Andrew, it would be nice for us to meet, come on board, let's do this thing together, give us the advice. But my advice is that I will lead you through this thing that you say it is impossible, but I'll make it possible. Because one, when you look at the Apex budget, the SABC is down 400. I was there, 2010. Philips is home, I brought it home. I was the one who went to Zurich and became the broadcasting partner at the FCC, at the Central Convention Center. Philips was not brought by any other person but me as a founder. So we made that broadcasting center buzz. Fan Park started with us, started with our plans. However, when you look at your Apex, you do not look at it just in the monetary form, Andre. They are goods in terms of trade exchanges. There are rollovers. There's a percentage give or take, 15% up, 15%. If we are going to do 20 vans, we will do 5 in 3 months. Then we'll do the others. Do you understand? It is possible, Andre. OB vans are being built in our face and in our space. Nice cubicles. You get those cars donated to us. There are donors that will give us those cars. We've got 4 Evokos that are readily available to be branded and parade the whole of Zimbabwe, written JIT. That's it. It's possible. Very possible.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any questions from the print platform?
Thank you, Chair. We have one. I'm not sure if it's a question to the applicant, but it says from Nico Abote. Presentation at this commission is everything. I'm yet to experience this on everyone who has made their submissions. Are we ready for this digital revolution in TV? So I'm not sure, Chair, this is the question that I see on Facebook.
Jit, would like to respond? It looks like a comment, not a question.
Yeah, there is a question on Facebook from Nico Abote. Seems the CEO is an all-in-one knowledgeable guy would be great to have experts on your panel to talk about these technical issues without talking from your own experience. You are now answering Mr. Chakanyuka's question. One, can you indicate besides the HR board and CEO, if you have the right technical team, what technology are you bringing in?
Nicholas, good day. Colin McKenzie. As a CEO and founder of the channel, I have to have an oversight role. My knowledge and expertise is what drives this business. I cannot lead from behind. I cannot be Moses. I will lead with my expertise and impart my knowledge to the ones that need to be imparted. I am passionate about growing skills. I'm passionate about development, and I love my country so much that I've done so much to the extent that I feel so this is the time that the Broadcasting Authority has given us. My expertise are supposed to be disseminated to all spheres. Mine is a vision. I am a visionary, and my visionary will bring in those skills. Our HR is highly skilled and well knowledgeable in terms of the labor institutes in Zimbabwe. Our regulatory department sits on ICASA boards. You understand? I've gone through it. My marketing person, Lynn, is from a medical fraternity, Bayer Pharmaceutical and Pfizer. Our legal advisor on the is just an intern that's also graduated from the LLB school, and then we take it down into technology. We have got technology experts that will come through and teach us. Remember that we've not been in this space. So everything is new, everything has to be taught, and there are people who will teach those teaching schools. Like HR said that we are going to be partnering with entities internationally where the exchange students for kids. Secondly, Commissioner, what is going to happen here is that there's a team. I think if you can see on our working boards there about an integrated Zimbabwe, I think it's there, the technical side 15, production units 35, content 10, 125 people, which will be hired and sent to a holiday resort or sent to a neighboring country for 2 weeks to learn and master the skills of where they are. And those, they come back to Zimbabwe after, for a week, and they start implementing and working and being trained by those guys that are here, that are there, so that they work. Then we have a monthly loop now before our launch, and then we go. And what's important is that we are going to source the right human capital through our HR expert. We cannot populate the organogram and pretend like as though we are broadcasting already tonight. No. We still have to go through a selection process, an HR process that confines the that is confinement to the Labor Act. We cannot just go out and just hire willy-nilly for the sake of hiring. We've got to understand what depth is in Zimbabwe first, and what is it that Zimbabwe needs, and what is it that we can bring. So the oversight role should not be seen. And whoever in any entity does not play an oversight role in the fiduciary duties is not meant to be there. Thank you, Nicholas.
Okay, any more questions from Facebook or?
Sorry,
Another
Chair.
question.
Sorry,
Yes.
Chair.
Yes.
Sorry, just to follow on. I think it was great for Nicholas to observe what he has. There was Andre on the line who said he's got 22 experience. There's our technical guy, unfortunately, his daughter fell ill, so he couldn't make it. We've got Max Magwaza. Max Magwaza has worked in the multi-choice FCC facility for over 30 years. So we have Zimbabweans that are coming home. We have Zimbabweans that are bringing those expertise home. Just support. We can do it.
Okay, go ahead with your question.
Thank you, Chair. There's one from Kulileko Chabalala. ZBC TV has always failed the nation when it comes to a balanced coverage of the election period for the interest of the nation. How is your TV going to handle this in the 21st century?
Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you, Nonkululeko or Nkululeko. We are guided by the Electoral Act in terms of the percentages that political parties have in terms of airtime. We are also guided by that particular act in terms of those political parties' kind of messaging. It is not us that determines those, but it is a standard norm, practice, and processes across the world, countrywide. So if you look at the Broadcasting Act in terms of election and you compare it to the neighbors, it's the same. Let us not try and take it out of isolation and think that we are different, we do things different. If in fact, if you look at the Zimbabwean laws, they are one of the best in terms of broadcasting. They are accommodative in so many ways, but they have to be protected. And so that's it. I don't think there's nothing much that we can do. And moreover, our core values do not lie there. Our core values lie with entertainment. I think you've got these people who are doing the news, radios, they're doing thing. And I think, to be honest, as a person who's looked at this whole thing, I think you've got Zim papers who are capable of putting a 24-hour news channel and take care of that stuff there. And then you come to ZBC, it'll be very unfair with the kind of economic pressure that Zimbabwe faces. We expect ZBC to be this wonderful thing. ZBC at our time, Chikura, was the best in Southern Africa. Those best heads are the ones running these entities this side. So we want to bring best watch back home with the expertise and the knowledge that we have. Then you look at it and you expect ZBC to be everything and everything for everybody. People need to understand that producing local content is expensive. This process that Buzz is accommodating and taking us through is a process that is going to alleviate that pressure on the public or state broadcaster to be able to do what the state broadcaster can do. And that is to inform and educate people critically, and they'll be able to expand more. Then we alleviate them and we do the entertainment budget. To my nice that's what we can do. Peter Vorado or John Vorado, is it what Buzz, thank you for opening the doors. We can do what we can do and do it at the best of our abilities. What we want to say then is that this thing is not chun chedu. Guys, let's come together, support us, man. Let's work on this thing. All the expertise, no one, you can't come in, we can't do it. Then we rather be where we are this side here. Support us, Zimbabwe, make this thing happen, make it happen. And I will try and make it happen as well. Thank you.
Okay, any more questions submitted through Facebook or other means?
Yes, Chair.
Okay.
Yes, Chair. Another one from Nico Abote. I'm happy you're passionate, but we also need to see the ones you are intending to impact the knowledge to, also making their knowledgeable submissions too with you here. TV is teamwork, my brother. But let me take the other question, Chair, from Zim Vision Nara. So it's a great idea. What do you have on the ground to start up in terms of film production and appropriate technology and equipment?
What do we have on the ground? We've got the technical expertise, we've got the knowledge, and what's important, we have is 2 stations currently broadcasting. I mean, we have shares in there, we can get whatever we need, but that are those entities on their own. This is Zimbabwe we're talking about, Commissioner. Once we are commissioned and awarded the license with its stipulated terms and conditions and the durations and its deadlines, ours is to abide by that. We will start doing the rollout plan in the 3 months that we've promised from stage 1 to stage 5. And what's critical about this moment is the fact that the process, as I said, has been a 5-year process. So it's not something and we thought my license out pure to my nice and must come on board. No, I understand and I see that Nicholas is acknowledging the passion. You have to put passion before you push business. So that's the sacrifices we're doing. And what's important as well is that we've got to consider the fact that when the rollout plan is implemented, those things that are needed now to get those things start coming in. We also then, in conjunction with our HR, we then identify skills that tie into the certain things. We then go to technology, the suppliers within and within Zimbabwe. We are going to do a price parity in terms of equipment, because they go south, but take a camera for 20,000. Yeah. When they go back to Zimbabwe, they charge that camera at $20,000. Then you ask yourself, how is that possible? So if those scrupulous suppliers think they will come to us and impose that kind of content and pricing that is not consumer friendly, we are not there for that. We've experienced it, we've seen these things. And we are wanting the likes of Nicholas to be part of our content portfolios. Nicholas, go onto our website, register, and start sharing your dream with us. Be part of JIT. This is the time. Do it, and let's come together. We will do workshops when we see that the numbers are right. Whichever you want it, I see the gates, the floodgates are open. We can do my workshops and talk about this thing and clean it out before we actually think of going to air. The day we are ordered, we will celebrate, but the following day, it is ours to sit together and say, this is what we have before us. And Bana Nicholas Vanengwaripo, we want to share ideas with those communities and individuals where we come from. I've always supported and I'm in love with the government decentralization program. And there's no one, we cannot complain. My radio license, my radio license, my license, nothing at all. So we should not blame the Harare party that comes through and takes the broadcasting licenses and do everything. We are there to break the monotony of monopoly, which will become dangerous in the future, which is going to be called black monopoly capital. We are going to create an industry where everything is going to be coerced and collusions and everything. So what is the point of opening up this platform when there are no new players? The very same people that are failing to pay royalties, the very same people who are failing to grow the sector. Commissioner, this is a challenging point and a turning point and a very, very strong decision in one's moral conscience and fiber to actually say to ourselves, this is the time to do right for Zimbabwe. This is the time. My license out. They did not have finances, they did not have anything, but they're running. But what have they done new? What is there that can ignite this industry to become a powerhouse? Passion is needed. That's what we have. And we are going to push these guys to limits and stages that they will never have seen before. Was licensed here. Thank you. You need to wake up.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Chair, we do not seem to have questions on Facebook, but there is a comment in the chat box. It's not a question, it's a comment. Someone from Terence Mukupe. It says Nico Abote is herald and is also an applicant, so it's unfair of him to trash JIT. Nico Abote now with Chengeto Africa as board member and head of media and communications. So I don't think it's addressed to applicants, but for transparency actually, we just read it out. It doesn't seem like we have further questions, Chairperson, on Facebook.
Okay, so at this stage, I would like to give Jit the time to pose some questions to the Commission, if you have any.
Thank you, Commissioner. It would be very unfair for us to pose any questions. And I think the Commission team has done an excellent job in the process of asking the questions. It was the very same unanswered questions that we might have had when we were coming here have been answered in this very same process. Saka, we don't have any questions, but what we can do and what we have to say is, Tinotenda, we really thank you for this opportunity. And there's nothing more we can ask, but when will we get the license? Thank you.
Okay, before I answer that question, maybe I overlooked a hand. There was Belinda who really wanted to say something to you. Belinda, Victoria, do you still want to say something?
Hi, Belinda. Chair.
Yeah. So what? Is muted. Who can unmute her? She's still muted.
Linda, can you unmute yourself? Thank you. Please go ahead. Belinda, please go ahead.
Unfortunately, we cannot get anything from Belinda. You can mute her. I would advise you to maybe send your question in writing. We'll forward the question to Just in Time, then they will provide you with the answer. At this stage, Just in Time, we cannot give you a date, the answer that you want, whether you're going to have a license or not. This is part of a process. When the process is concluded, we'll be able to draw our conclusions. Yeah, I'm sure you are happy with your presentation. Thanks for coming. And this is the end of today's session with you.
Chair, sorry, just before, I don't know if you had the opportunity to enjoy our visual, our look and feel of JIT, the coming up Saturdays and that. So as we say goodbye to each other, and thank you for hosting us, would love to leave off with that section so that you can have an opportunity to just have another glance into JIT, and let's just jive towards the end of this thing. Thank you, Commissioner, and thank you to all the commissioners out there. I must say, I'm impressed, I'm excited. I've never thought I would see the sun come out on this day. Today, the Broadcasting Authority of Zimbabwe has outwitted, outplayed, and outsmarted everything in terms of what we can do as a nation. Thank you.
Okay, you can
play.
The last one.
The Jit-Tv one.
Yes, and the end will mark the end of the interaction.
Sure.
So anybody who wants to leave can leave.
Do not.
JIT-TV, just in time.
From the heart of Zimbabwe, it's JIT-TV, bringing you entertainment that is locally grounded but globally connected. An array of content colored with diversity and ethos that
There is nothing wrong.